Chapter 735. In the bamboo forest in the mountains, a gentle breeze blew. A 15 or 16-year-old youth opened his eyes slightly and rubbed them in a daze. The youth was nameless and had no parent. He was raised by a blind fortune-teller since he was young. The blind fortune-teller said that he was the reincarnation of a god and would become a great person in the future. The youth scoffed. He did not think that a god would be willing to reincarnate as an unwanted bastard. Although the blind fortune-teller did not give the youth wealth, he taught him martial arts, allowing him to kill a tiger with one punch when he was only a teenager. Later, the blind fortune-teller died of illness. The youth felt that he would not have any relatives anymore. Later, the youth saw her. He saw the bloodstains on her body, the bloodstains on her face, and the despair on her face. Behind her were the people who wanted to kill her. For some reason, when he saw the girl's eyes that were still clear despite being covered in blood, he subconsciously made a move. Finally, the youth, who was injured, came in front of the girl and stretched out his hand. "What is your name?" "My name is Xiao Zhiyuan," the girl said timidly. "Then follow me." The youth held the girl's hand as if nothing had happened. The girl held it tightly and did not let go. She followed him for 3 years. During these 3 years, the girl encountered countless assassination attempts, and the youth helped her block countless of them. The youth became stronger and stronger, but the injuries on his body also increased. 3 years later, a group of people found the girl and wanted to take her away. The youth looked on silently and did not say a word. Before leaving, the girl jumped into the youth's arms and kissed his face. "I will come back to find you. Xiao Zhiyuan will become very, very strong. I will not let you get hurt again," the girl vowed. She stuffed a sachet into the youth's chest where his heart was. "Never forget me." She left. The youth was filled with hatred and even felt that he was betrayed. He picked up the sachet and wanted to throw it away, but in the end, he still kept it. Later, the youth met a young master. A young master who went into the mountains to hunt and was almost eaten by a white tiger. He killed the white tiger with one punch. At the same time, he looked at the young master with disdain. "You are so useless. Don't go into the mountains to hunt. Hello, I am the 13th prince of Northern Liang. Thank you for saving me." The young master laughed happily. From then on, the Northern Liang kingdom had another legend. A general who had no name, but who had shocked everyone. 10 years later, the Sichuan Empire attacked the Northern Liang kingdom's imperial capital. A silent figure wearing a helmet like an iron tower stood on the city wall of the imperial capital. With 30,000 soldiers, they vowed to guard the country's gates. The Empress of the Sichuan Empire personally led the troops into battle. "The Northern Liang monarch has already hanged himself. Why are you still defending?" Someone shouted. That figure remained indifferent and didn't say anything. He only knew that the young master who was almost eaten by the white tiger had now died in his own hanging rope. However, he wanted to fight until the very end. Empress Sichuan covered her face with a beaded curtain. She looked at the stubborn figure in front of her and reached into the void. A sword appeared in her hand. "Once we conquer the Northern Liang kingdom, no one in this world will be able to harm us anymore," the Empress muttered to herself. Poochie! Blood splattered everywhere. The sword in Empress Sichuan's hand pierced through the general's heart. "Let me see what kind of person the final backbone of the Northern Liang kingdom is." Empress Sichuan removed her general's mask. A familiar face was revealed. "Why, little Ziyuan, you are here? As expected, you have become very powerful." The general's hand trembled as he took out an item. It was a blood-stained sachet. During these 10 years, he had been at ease. The general closed his eyes. Empress Sichuan's hair was messy, and she was heartbroken. A sword to the throat. The two corpses leaned against each other. The blood that splattered out merged together. The first generation had ended. The lanterns were lit. A handsome manservant was secretly sizing up the beautiful courtesan in the room. She should be the most beautiful woman in this brothel. Her name was Li Yuan. Not only was she beautiful, but she also had a beautiful heart. She wasn't like other women who schemed against each other. One day, the servant accidentally knocked over a customer's wine cup and was kicked and punched by the customer. He was almost beaten to death. It was Li Yuan who stepped in. She hugged the customer and coaxed him to not be calculative. The servant lowered his head and clenched his teeth. Late at night, he didn't know where he got the courage to find Li Yuan. He hugged her and said, "I want to bring you away." Li Yuan smiled and said, "Okay, when you become the number one in the world, bring me away." The servant left. He met an expert and apprenticed himself to him. In 3 years, he became famous all over the world with a sword. He came to the brothel again. The courtesan was gone. He heard that she died in the house of a rich family a month ago. Before she died, she was still muttering, "Bring me away." He carried his sword and massacred the family. There were 300 people in total, and he didn't leave a single one alive. He hugged the courtesan's cold body and walked toward the sunset step by step. The second generation ended. There were many stories. There was a scholar who went to the capital to take the imperial exam who met a vixen in the middle of the night. Humans and demons were different. There was a Taoist disciple who fell in love with a demoness of the devil sect and died for love. And these people, without exception, all of them had a question in their hearts before they died. Who am I? They didn't know who they were. They only felt that they seemed to have forgotten something. They only remembered that they seemed to have seen a blurry white-clothed figure in a dream. The cycle of reincarnation after reincarnation seemed endless. The 5th generation, the 7th generation, the 20th generation, the 72nd generation, the 99 generations of reincarnation passed. Until the 100th generation. He was the eldest son of the world's number 1 demon-slaying family. He was handsome and extraordinary, but his personality was cold and distant, as if he had no feelings. Exterminating demons was even more cruel. But only a few people knew. He wasn't human. Instead, he was a humanoid Taoist soldier passed down from ancient times. He thought that he might never have the feeling of love in his life. Until he met a peach blossom demon. "My name is Tao Yuan." The peach blossom demon smiled charmingly. He didn't know why he didn't kill her. Perhaps it was because that smile was too bright. Tao Yuan told him that the outside world was very big, and there were endless rivers and mountains. "If you want, I can accompany you to see it." Tao Yuan smiled sweetly. "I'm the eldest son of the number 1 demon-slaying family," he said. "I'm not afraid. You're a good person." Tao Yuan smiled innocently. He was still expressionless. However, there was a faint ancient talisman slowly appearing between his eyebrows. Later, the matter of the little peach blossom demon was exposed. In the square hall of the number 1 demon-slaying family, everyone asked him to kill this little peach blossom demon with his own hands. The little peach blossom demon was weak and collapsed to the ground with wounds all over her body. And she was still smiling at him. Just like when they first met, her smile was as bright as a peach blossom. "I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid that I can't accompany you to see the rivers and mountains." Tao Yuan's face was pale as she smiled weakly. He raised the sword in his hand. He hesitated. Slash. Still not slash? His hand was trembling. At this moment, a mechanical voice suddenly sounded in his mind. "Ding, congratulations to the host. You have reached the deepest part of the black abyss. Do you want to sign in?" He answered subconsciously. "Ding, congratulations to the host. Sign in for the 3 generations Immortal Sutra, Future Lifeless Sutra." Boom! Accompanied by a mechanical sound. The past Amitabha Sutra, the present World Tathagata Sutra, and the future Lifeless Sutra. They completely fused into a supreme immortal sutra for cultivating the primordial spirit. The 3 Generations Immortal Sutra. At this moment, his mind instantly became clear. At the same time, the ancient talisman in his mind released boundless light. That was half of the chaotic ancient emperor's talisman, protecting his primordial spirit. The 100 Lives Reincarnation Test, as expected of the underworld. His gaze was cold as he looked at the weak and pitiful Tao Yuan who was lying on the ground. Ling Yan, I'm afraid you haven't woken up yet. It seems that this son of God will go first. His sword fell and killed the little peach blossom demon. Chapter 736. He had to admit that the trial of the reincarnation eyes of the underworld was indeed terrifying. After 100 reincarnations, one's consciousness would be erased, and each life would be reborn. If one failed to awaken their consciousness, they would continue to reincarnate. Until their primordial spirit was completely exhausted, they would never be able to wake up again. It was a great trial of one's will and Tao heart. The longer the reincarnation cycle, the lower the chance of waking up. In ancient times, the underworld used it to test the talents of the underworld monarch. What was the underworld monarch's level in the underworld? He was at least in the martial monarch realm. The one-armed underworld monarch worshipped by the underworld monarch tribe. The fact that Jun Xiaoyao had passed the trial of the reincarnation eyes meant that he had the potential to achieve the martial monarch realm. However, it was not a big deal. Jun Xiaoyao's potential had long been proven. The test of the Rinnegan is indeed extraordinary. If it weren't for the Sutra Future, I just happened to sign in and collect the complete 3 Lives Sutra, which boosted the power of my primordial spirit, it would have taken me quite some time to break free from the cycle of reincarnation, Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. The reason why he was able to wake up so quickly was that apart from the complete 3 Lives Immortal Scriptures, half of the ancient Chaos Monarch Talisman was protecting his primordial spirit. With the help of the 2, Jun Xiaoyao was able to recover in such a short time. Otherwise, if Jun Xiaoyao failed to execute the slash, he would fall into a new reincarnation cycle. After regaining his consciousness, Jun Xiaoyao realized he was standing on a vast ocean. It was not an ordinary ocean, but the ocean of reincarnation. Every ripple on the surface of the sea reflected a scene of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao could not help but recall the reincarnation pool of living things in the ancient burial ground. Wouldn't it be an ocean if it was magnified countless times? As I thought, the people in the ancient burial ground are most likely related to the underworld. The living things in the ancient burial ground are born from death. It does seem like something that only the underworld has. Jun Xiaoyao pondered deeply. He could not help but admit that there were too many secrets in the 9 Heavens immortal realm. The more he learned, the more doubts he had. Jun Xiaoyao lowered his head slightly and saw the silhouette of a woman bobbing in the ocean. It was Ling Yan. At this moment, Ling Yan's beautiful eyes were tightly closed, and her graceful and delicate body was bobbing up and down in the waves. Every wave that hit her delicate body was a cycle of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao suddenly understood. He should have also been baptized by the waves in the sea of reincarnation. Every wave was a cycle of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao woke up in the 100th wave, which was also the 100th reincarnation cycle. As for Ling Yan, he was still undergoing the baptism of a new wave of reincarnation. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes turned cold when he saw the beautiful figure floating in the waves of the Samsara Sea. Kill her? At this moment, Ling Yan was wearing a snow-white glazed dress. It was wet from the tide and clung to her delicate body, outlining her seductive curves. The mountains rose and fell, the hinterland was flat, and the valleys were deep and serene. She closed her eyes and frowned, as if she was experiencing a sad dream. His expression wasn't as cold and arrogant as when he was awake. Instead, it seemed a little quiet and tranquil. Perhaps it was because Jun Xiaoyao and Ling Yan had entered the Rinnegan together. Therefore, they had also experienced 100 lives of ill-fated love together. from little paper kite to Li kite and then to Tao kite. Without exception, in every life, she and Jun Xiaoyao were in a sadomasochistic love. They loved each other so much that it was engraved in their hearts. Jun Xiaoyao didn't feel anything about this. These sadomasochistic love were just illusions. He didn't care about it at all. It didn't hurt or itch. Jun Xiaoyao walked in front of Ling Yan, thinking. He used his finger as a sword and casually pointed it out. Sword energy gushed out. However, when it fell on Ling Yan, it was annihilated by the waves of reincarnation. Can't I? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself that it might be the interference of the sea of reincarnation. The others couldn't affect the people who were going through the test. Well, if I kill her now, not only will I let Fairy Yuan die together, but I will also completely arouse the anger of Empress Hua's immortal lineage. Although my Jun family is not afraid, now is not the time for a war. Jun Xiaoyao temporarily gave up killing Ling Yan. Anyway, he was confident that he could always suppress Ling Yan in strength. He could deal with it at any time. But he could avoid death, but he couldn't escape punishment. Ling Yan had been living behind the scenes for a long time and threatened him with Fairy Yuan. Jun Xiaoyao didn't like to be threatened and schemed against. After thinking about it for a while, Jun Xiaoyao's gaze fell on Ling Yan's snow-white long legs that were exposed by the cut of her skirt. He seemed to have thought of something, and a dim light flashed in his eyes. A finger fell and drew a line on Ling Yan's snow-white inner thigh. Every time I defeat you, I will draw a line on your inner thigh to see if I can get a perfect character in the end. Jun Xiaoyao looked playful. He woke up earlier than Ling Yan and passed the test of Rinnegan, which could be regarded as defeating her once. Only he, a time traveler, could think of such a punishment. Drawing a perfect character on Ling Yan's thigh. It was hard to imagine how a proud woman like Ling Yan would react when she woke up and found that Jun Xiaoyao had left a mark on her thigh. It was estimated that her expression would be wonderful. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao's body surface was suddenly enveloped in brilliance. Hundreds of kinds of brilliance, layer upon layer. It was the 100 reincarnations that Jun Xiaoyao had experienced. Finally, the light of this 100 reincarnations overlapped. It turned into a seed, filled with the breath of the past. This is, Jun Xiaoyao reached out and grabbed the seed in his hand. He could feel that in his 3 lives' primordial spirit, the part that belonged to the past, produced a wisp of fluctuation. Is this the reward for passing the test of Rinnegan? Jun Xiaoyao guessed. This seed may be of great help to the shaping of his primordial spirit in the past. Let's call it the seed of the past. Jun Xiaoyao murmured. In his 3 lives' primordial spirit, the primordial spirit had already condensed and was sitting cross-legged on the flower of the great path in the middle. The primordial spirit in the past was a cloud of hazy mist. It had begun to take shape, but it had not yet condensed into a human shape. As for the primordial spirit in the future, it had not yet begun to condense. Jun Xiaoyao had already obtained the complete version of the 3 Lives Immortal Sutra. Therefore, it was only a matter of time before he cultivated the complete 3 Lives Primordial Spirit. As for the seed of the past, it could help him to a great extent to speed up the condensation of the primordial spirit in the past. When the time came, Jun Xiaoyao would condense the past, present, and future, the 3 primordial spirit Dharma images. His primordial spirit could be hidden in the past and manifest in the future. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for ordinary people to destroy Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit. Unless they stepped into the long river of time and destroyed his primordial spirit from the past and future. In addition, Jun Xiaoyao also unexpectedly discovered that the curse power in his inner universe had completely dissipated. This was very surprising. Jun Xiaoyao felt that it might be because he had passed the test of Rinnegan, and Rinnegan was a product of the underworld. Perhaps after successfully passing the test, the curse was also dispelled. But I still want to know the real secret of the sacred body curse. Jun Xiaoyao put his hands behind his back and rushed towards the end of the sea of reincarnation. And Ling Yan was still being washed by the waves of reincarnation. She was floating in the torturous love of 100 lives. "Don't go, Brother Jun, don't leave me," Ling Yan, with her beautiful eyes closed, murmured in the dream of reincarnation. Chapter 737. Jun Xiaoyao came to the end of the sea of reincarnation. A stone door stood above the sea. It was exactly the same as the stone door when he entered before. Jun Xiaoyao pushed the door open and entered. The moment he walked out of the stone door, Jun Xiaoyao found that a black mysterious mark appeared on the back of his hand. Is this the proof of passing the test of the Rinnegan? Jun Xiaoyao wondered. He didn't care too much. Behind the stone door, there was a dead dark continent, no different from before. Jun Xiaoyao stepped into it and strolled. Perhaps because he passed the test, Jun Xiaoyao didn't notice any dangerous aura. As he went deeper, he gradually saw some desolate palaces. There were also blood-colored long rivers, mountains piled up with white bones, and so on. It was like a scene straight out of hell. As expected of the underworld, it really looks like the underworld. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled, without the slightest fear. At this time, footsteps suddenly came from the front. Dong, dong, dong. Like a drum, the earth trembled. What's going on? How can there be people here? Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. He looked over. Rows of troops were advancing on the fog-filled land. They were wearing heavy armor and holding spears. If one were to look closely at their faces, one would be surprised to see that they were all zombie-like faces. Dehydrated, wrinkled, sunken eye sockets, and bluish-white skin. This scene was absolutely strange, and it made people's hair stand on end. Ghost soldiers crossing the border? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes darkened. Perhaps Jun Xiaoyao's surprised aura alarmed those ghost soldiers. Their eyes turned in unison, and their faces were equally numb. In their eye sockets there were 2 green ghost fires burning. A biting evil spirit and coldness was released. Being stared at by thousands of ghost soldiers like this, anyone would have a mental breakdown. Jun Xiaoyao frowned, faintly raised his hand, and secretly urged his spiritual power. The Yin soldiers' gazes fell on Jun Xiaoyao's raised hand and saw the black mark on it. Then, they retracted their gazes. The baleful aura dissipated, and they continued to patrol the continent. Jun Xiaoyao was finally able to relax after seeing what happened. It seemed that this black mark was also a form of identification. Jun Xiaoyao murmured to himself, "Rumor has it that hell has 8 million Yin soldiers. In its heyday, the passing of 1 million Yin soldiers was akin to the return of hell to the mortal realm. They could even turn an entire galaxy into a ghost realm." Then, he continued to move forward and encountered many strange and terrifying scenes. For example, mountains of corpses and seas of blood, the night of 100 ghosts, and so on. Finally, he arrived at a vast palace of darkness. It looked incomparably ancient, as if it had experienced the vicissitudes of time. The Black Abyss should be a testing ground for the underworld. It's impossible for there to be true core inheritances and supreme treasures. But at the very least, there should be some information about the curse of the holy physique. Jun Xiaoyao pondered and began to explore the dark palace. Among them, there were alchemy grounds, cultivation grounds, burial grounds, reincarnation pools, and so on. Jun Xiaoyao also plundered a lot of resources along the way. Finally, Jun Xiaoyao came to a palace. This should be a place similar to the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Jun Xiaoyao stepped in and found that there were no bookshelves or anything like that. There was only a stone tablet standing in the middle. There were countless ant-like words engraved on it, and it was impossible to see clearly. Jun Xiaoyao stepped forward, thought for a moment, and then poured his primordial spirit power into it. Instantly, the entire stone tablet began to emit a faint brilliance. A lot of information appeared in Jun Xiaoyao's mind. Dense words appeared in front of his eyes like spots of light. Jun Xiaoyao searched for clues about the blood of curses. Later, he encountered some blockages. In other words, he needed a certain amount of authority to access it. The black mysterious mark on the back of Jun Xiaoyao's hand appeared again. The stone tablet immediately gave Jun Xiaoyao access. This is, after browsing through it, Jun Xiaoyao slowly frowned. That was because he had found a crucial point in it. The life forbidden zone. Jun Xiaoyao found out from the information he was looking at. This so-called curse wasn't purely created by the underworld. In fact, in the beginning, a mysterious figure came to the underworld and asked to join forces with the underworld to curse the sacred body. That mysterious figure came from the life forbidden zone. In the underworld, there were also the origin ghost and origin demon lineages that needed the 10,000 spirit true blood to conduct some kind of experiment. The sacred blood was a key part of it, and it was also the part they studied the most. Longevity Island. Jun Xiaoyao was able to find some key information among them. Life Forbidden Zone, Longevity Island. No matter what, the sacred body curse is related to the Life Forbidden Zone. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a cold light. Although the curse in his inner verse had been removed, who knew if that strange thing would return in the future? And even if Jun Xiaoyao could resist it himself, what about the other sacred bodies in future eras? Would they have to suffer this curse forever? Since I already know the clues, then it's easy. If there's a chance in the future, I'll go to the Life Forbidden Zone. Jun Xiaoyao made up his mind. In the future, he would completely solve the sacred body curse. He would also deal with the origin demon and origin ghost lineages. If outsiders knew what Jun Xiaoyao was thinking, they would definitely be shocked. Not to mention the strangeness of the underworld. Since ancient times, the Life Forbidden Zone was a forbidden land that caused people's expressions to change when they talked about it. Every Life Forbidden Zone was incomparably ancient and filled with mystery and terror. Ordinary Supremes didn't dare to take half a step into it. There were all kinds of dangers and shocking treasures. There were even rumors that there were forbidden existences that had been sleeping for eternity. It could be said that even the immortal forces didn't dare to casually enter the Life Forbidden Zone. They would suffer unprecedented consequences. But to Jun Xiaoyao, this didn't seem to be a big deal. He would definitely do what he had made up his mind to do. Whether it was suppressing the ancient burial ground, crossing the Life Forbidden Zone, stepping into the foreign realm, or ascending the realm sea. He would achieve all of these feats one by one. Jun Xiaoyao searched again. He didn't find any more information in this stone tablet. He also didn't find out who the mysterious person who contacted the underworld was. After all, this was only a test ground of the underworld. It was impossible for there to be more detailed information. Jun Xiaoyao left the hall. After searching for a while, he didn't find anything else. Jun Xiaoyao found a dust-covered teleportation formation among them. In an instant, he was teleported to an ancient planet outside the 90th stage of the ancient road. The harvest this time isn't bad, Jun Xiaoyao said. He had cultivated 36 Sumer worlds. He condensed the 12th essence magnetic immortal energy. He also obtained the seed of the past and signed in for the complete 3 generations Immortal Sutra. He also had a preliminary understanding of the sacred body curse. It could be considered a success. The next step is to enter seclusion to refine the seed of the past and condense the essence soul of the past. Then, I will walk to the end of the ancient road. Jun Xiaoyao looked into the distance with his hands behind his back. From the Emperor Road to the ultimate ancient road. The current him wasn't far from the end. Jun Xiaoyao could vaguely expect that the further he went, the more intense the battles would become. Therefore, he needed to adjust his state to the best and improve all aspects as much as possible. He went to find a quiet place and prepared to enter seclusion. At the same time, Ling Yan, who was floating in the reincarnation sea, her long eyelashes trembled slightly as she slowly opened her eyes. Chapter 738. Ling Yan only felt that she had a very, very long dream. There were all kinds of scenes in the dream, all kinds of sadomasochism. Every woman who suffered from love seemed to be her, but also not like her. Fortunately, there is the Nuwa Dao stone. Otherwise, it would take a lot of time for me to wake up. Ling Yen got up from the tide, and her tall and slender figure was like a peerless immortal flower. Between her eyebrows, there was a 5-color stone, blooming with immortal brilliance. This was one of Ling Yan's trump cards. The man in the memory is him. Recalling the man she loved infatuated with in 100 lives, Ling Yan frowned and felt a little uncomfortable. Although it was just the illusion of Rinnegan, it was obvious that the man was Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yan was not stupid. She knew that it should be after they fell into Rinnegan at the same time, they experienced 100 lives together. It was a little embarrassing to experience 100 lives of love with the fated enemy. But Ling Yan's Dao heart was also unshakable. She wanted to cut off this memory of an ill-fated relationship, but she found that she couldn't cut it at all. Forget it, it's just an illusion. I don't care. By the way, Jun Xiaoyao shouldn't have woken up yet. Ling Yan looked around and found that she was surrounded by a sea of reincarnation, but there was no Jun Xiaoyao's figure in it. Just as Ling Yan was extremely puzzled, she suddenly noticed something strange in her body. Slightly lowering her eyes, Ling Yan saw the source of the strangeness. It came from the inner side of her snow-white thigh, where there was a distinct mark. This, Ling Yan's mind suddenly went blank, as if everything was cleared. She could be sure that this was by no means a natural formation, nor was it caused by Rinnegan, but a trace left by someone. It's him. Ling Yan immediately thought of Jun Xiaoyao. She didn't detect Jun Xiaoyao's breath. There was another possibility, that Jun Xiaoyao had woken up before her. Not only that, but he also humiliated her. Ling Yan wanted to erase that trace. However, he discovered that it was a mark left behind by the Dao laws. In other words, unless Ling Yan had a deeper understanding of Dao than Jun Xiaoyao, she would not be able to erase it. Obviously, among the younger generation, if Jun Xiaoyao said he was second, no one would dare to say they were first. He had even created the Innerverse, so his understanding of the Dao was naturally much deeper than Ling Yan's. Jun Xiaoyao. Ling Yan was so angry that her delicate body trembled and her red lips turned white. She was the princess of Xianting with a noble bloodline. Even Gu Tizi could only painstakingly pursue her, and did not dare to overstep his boundaries. But what about Jun Xiaoyao? Not only did it leave a mark on her body, but it also left a mark on her. And it was on the inner thigh. If it were any other woman, if they were treated like this by Jun Xiaoyao, they might be very happy and excited. But for Ling Yan, this was an absolute humiliation. Ling Yan could not keep calm at all. She could not help but lose her composure and wanted to scream. She could not imagine what would happen if Jun Xiaoyao was a little more beastly. The sea of reincarnation surged. Ling Yan was like an angry female immortal king, venting her anger recklessly. After a long time, she finally calmed down. Fortunately, there was no one else here, so her loss of composure would not be seen by anyone. Where's the reward? Ling Yan frowned. Logically speaking, if she could pass this test, there should be a reward. Ling Yan's delicate jade face was ashen. She knew that the reward might have already been obtained by Jun Xiaoyao. Then, she left the sea of reincarnation and went deep into it. All the resources along the way that could be taken away had already been taken away by Jun Xiaoyao, leaving nothing behind. In the end, Ling Yan also left the black abyss through the teleportation array. In the universe, Ling Yan's tall and slender figure appeared. Her black hair moved without wind, and she was a little mad. This trip to the black abyss was clearly for her to explore the opportunities of the underworld. In the end, the exploration was lonely, and in the end, she did not get anything. Instead, Jun Xiaoyao had drawn a line on her thigh. She did not understand what this line meant, but it was obviously not a good thing. Jun Xiaoyao, you bastard, I must wash away this shame. Ling Yan raised her jade hand, and the Emperor's seal of Tao affirmation floated in it. As long as she fused with it, her strength would soar again. Ling Yan's heart heated up, and she almost could not help but fuse with it, but in the end she calmed down. No hurry, there will be opportunities in the future. There's no need to rush to become a chess piece in the hands of the heavenly axiom. Ling Yan still suppressed the urge to fuse with the Emperor's seal of Tao affirmation. Let's go find Fairy Yuan first. As long as she's still here, I have a trump card to counter. Ling Yan thought to herself. She had never underestimated Jun Xiaoyao. But after really fighting with Jun Xiaoyao to test his strength, she finally understood how powerful, terrifying, and unfathomable this opponent was. Even Ling Yuan, who was above everyone else, felt a sense of oppression when facing Jun Xiaoyao, as if she was looking up at a mountain. Ling Yan waved her jade hand, tore open the void, and left this place. On this trip to the Black Abyss, 3 top prodigies had fallen, and Ling Yan had gained nothing. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who emerged victorious in the end. At this moment, he was preparing to go into seclusion at the core of an ancient star. Achoo! Jun Xiaoyao touched his nose. Is that Ling Yan scolding me? Jun Xiaoyao's expression was indifferent. But thinking about it from another perspective, if he were Ling Yan, he would definitely be angry to the point of stomping his feet and cursing. This kind of woman thinks too highly of herself and needs to be taught a lesson. I should let her see the cold reality. Jun Xiaoyao murmured. He felt that he had a good chance to write a complete righteous character on Ling Yan's thigh. Then, Jun Xiaoyao took out the seed of the past. This was the key to condensing his primordial spirit in the past. With this seed of the past, not only can I completely condense my primordial spirit in the past, I might even be able to comprehend a powerful primordial spirit attack technique. Jun Xiaoyao thought. His current primordial spirit attack technique was relatively simple. Apart from the Chaos Divine Grindstone, there was Mahavairakana. But Jun Xiaoyao had a hunch that after experiencing 100 reincarnations, he already had a kind of enlightenment in his heart. If he could condense his primordial spirit in the past, he might be able to use the enlightenment of 100 reincarnations to comprehend a new primordial spirit attack technique. Now that the primordial spirit has condensed, I have Mahavairakana to suppress the present world. I wonder what kind of technique the primordial spirit in the past will allow me to comprehend? Jun Xiaoyao was looking forward to it. He sank into cultivation and began to refine the seed of the past. This also took time. About half a month later, on a dazzling star, Celestial Maiden Yuan stood alone, looking into the distance. The starlight reflected on her beautiful, fairy-like face, and there was a hint of reluctance in her eyes that couldn't be dispersed. Jun Xiaoyao's Dharma body had already dissipated some time ago. However, Fairy Yuan was already very satisfied. She even felt that even if she died now, she wouldn't have too many regrets. The only pity was that she couldn't see Jun Xiaoyao again. Unknowingly, a wind blew past the void. A tall and slender figure was already standing behind her. Fairy Yuan didn't even turn her head and said indifferently, "You're finally here. You're a little slower than I thought." "So, are you ready to die, Yuan?" Fairy Yuan slowly turned around and looked at the beautiful jade face that was 70% to 80% similar to hers. "Yes, it's impossible for you to use me to threaten young Master Jun," Fairy Yuan smiled indifferently. For a better reading experience, please visit the mobile version of the website, /book/5975/. Chapter 739. Ling Yan stood in front of Celestial Maiden Yuan, her expression emotionless. Celestial Maiden Yuan was indeed just her tool. No matter where she escaped to, Ling Yan could find her. If he wanted to kill her, it would only take a single thought. But now, because of Jun Xiaoyao, she couldn't kill Celestial Maiden Yuan even more. Your mood is not right. Could it be that you have already met young Master Jun's original body? Celestial Maiden Yuan's eyes were deep. It had to be said that as a body with two souls, she could indeed guess a lot of things. Ling Yan's face changed imperceptibly. That bar still remained on her inner thigh, but fortunately, it was covered by her skirt, so no one could see it. Let me guess, you were defeated by young Master June? Celestial Maiden Yuan's lips curled into a cat-like smile. Ling Yan's face was even colder. She slowly raised her hand and clenched the air. An illusory heart appeared in her hand. Cough! Celestial Maiden Yuan's face immediately turned pale, and her delicate body collapsed. She arched her body like a shrimp, and the pain in her heart was unbearable. Don't forget, Yuan, your life is in my hands. It's not a good thing to anger me. Ling Yan squatted down and pinched Celestial Maiden Yuan's sharp chin with her jade hand. Kill me, Celestial Maiden Yuan said with a determined expression. Kill you? Would I do such a cruel thing? Ling Yan stroked Celestial Maiden Yuan's face with her jade hand. If you want to use me to threaten young Master June, then your calculations are wrong. I'm actually nothing in young Master June's heart. Celestial Maiden Yuan laughed self-deprecatingly. She knew that June Xiaoyao already had a close female companion, such as Jiang Shengyi, Jiang Luoli, and others. And her? She was just a halfway interference, and even had some calculations in the beginning. June Xiaoyao could not hate her, and even come to snatch the marriage. Celestial Maiden Yuan was already very satisfied. She would not ask for more. You have your uses. If I don't want you to die, you won't die even if you want to. Ling Yan waved her hand, and chains of order appeared, binding Fairy Yuan. June Xiaoyao, our game has only just begun. Ling Yan's phoenix eyes were filled with a cold light. She would personally wash away this humiliation. Time passed silently. In the few years since the ancient road had been opened, most of the geniuses had died along the way. Only a small number of heaven's favorites were qualified to take the last step. The 100th checkpoint of the ancient final road. This was a special checkpoint with a special meaning. He also possessed one of the greatest fortuitous encounters on the ancient road. Buried Emperor's Star. Just by hearing the name, one would know that this was a land of fortune. It was enough to drive countless heaven's favorites crazy. It was rumored that the buried Emperor's Star had many remnants of great emperors, ancient emperor seals, Holy Spirit remains, etc. This was also a gift given to the geniuses who had passed through the 100th stage of the ancient road. However, every time the ancient road opened, the buried Emperor's Star would only open at the final stage. When the buried Emperor's Star opened, it meant that the end of the ancient road's trial was near. 3 months later, a piece of shocking news spread on the ancient road. The buried Emperor's Star had opened. It was the oldest star in the 100th stage of the ancient road. It was intertwined with special laws and contained boundless mysteries of fortuitous encounters. When countless heaven's favorites heard this news, their eyes turned red. On the buried Emperor's Star, sovereign inheritances could be seen everywhere. If one could obtain a quasi-emperor's inheritance, they would definitely be qualified to reach the end of the ancient road. If one could obtain a true great emperor's inheritance, even if it was just a fragmented inheritance, it would be infinitely useful. In the past, there were many heaven's favorites who had obtained great fortuitous encounters on the buried Emperor's Star. In a certain ancient star field, a figure walked out with a majestic gait. Many of the surrounding stars were instantly shattered. It was a young man wearing a black and gold robe. He had a powerful aura and a handsome face. What a terrifying aura! It's the Qin family's Son of God. This aura alarmed the surrounding heaven's favorites. Their eyes widened in shock. If I'm not mistaken, the inheritance of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor should be on the buried Emperor's Star. As the successor of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor, if I obtain the inheritance, I will definitely be able to reach the end of the ancient road. This young man was the Qin family's Son of God, Qin Wudao. He was known as the Little Taisui, and he did things without any scruples. Although the Qin family was not as powerful as the Jun family, It was still a clan of the ancients that could not be underestimated. Their ancestor, the first emperor, had caused great waves in the nine heavens immortal realm. Qin Wudao had half of the ancient Chaos imperial talisman, and he had also obtained part of the ancient Chaos scriptures inheritance. Therefore, he had already regarded himself as the successor of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. I wonder if I can find the other half of the ancient Chaos imperial talisman on the buried Emperor star? Also, my brother, Qin Zimo, died in the hands of the Jun family's Son of God. I have to think about this carefully. Qin Wudao's expression was indifferent. Although the Jun family was powerful, he was not a nobody. He also had a clan of the ancients behind him. One was the Son of God of the Qin family, and the other was the Son of God of the Jun family. If the Son of God of the two clans of the ancients were to encounter each other, what would happen? In the other direction, balls of blazing light appeared. If one took a closer look, they would find that there were many young and powerful figures inside. The blurry figure in the lead was wrapped in a boundless sun. It was emitting a blazing divine light, as if a god of the sun had descended to the world. The light it emitted seemed to have turned into blazing divine chains that covered the surroundings. Above its head there was a treasure wheel that looked like a golden wheel. It floated in the air and emitted the aura of a quasi-monarch weapon. It was the Archean royalty, the 10 princes of Jinwu of the Sun God Mountain, and the others. It would be great if we can find the inheritance of the Emperor of the Golden Crow clan on the buried Emperor star, said the second prince of the Golden Crow clan. That's right. If we increase our strength, we might not be afraid of Jun Xiaoyao, said the first prince of the Golden Crow clan with a cold look in his eyes. 10th brother, do you think that Jun Xiaoyao will come to the buried Emperor star? Asked the 5th prince of the Golden Crow clan. The blurry figure in the lead, who was the 10 princes of Jinwu, had an extremely cold look in his eyes. The result will be the same whether he comes or not. Let's look for opportunities and increase our strength first. Then, we'll find a way to capture the people around Jun Xiaoyao, such as some people from the Jun family. When the time comes, we'll naturally find a way to deal with him, said the 10 princes of Jinwu with a hint of killing intent. Back then, Jun Xiaoyao had destroyed his Dharma body on the boat of destiny. It could be said that he had mercilessly slapped his face. The 10 princes of Jinwu had naturally kept this score in his heart. In the void, thud 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 sounds could be heard. It sounded like a primordial beast was crushing the stars, making terrifying sounds. However, upon closer inspection, it was actually an agile and petite snow-white figure that was leaping over from the void. Great, I can finally beat someone up. Also, the various treasures on the buried Emperor star are mine, all mine. This petite figure was the ancient Void Dragon clan's Long Yao. At the same time, she was also the overlord of the Tyrant clan. This time, the Tyrant clan and the ancient Void Dragon clan were finally willing to let her go to the buried Emperor star to compete for opportunities. There's also that sacred body Jun Xiaoyao. As the overlord, I, Long Yao will definitely beat the crap out of him and let him know that the Tyrant clan is truly invincible. Long Yao puffed up her budding chest and clenched her small fists. Her purple eyes were sparkling and she had a confident smile on her face. A newborn calf was not afraid of a tiger, let alone a little female dragon. For a better reading experience, please visit the mobile version of the website, /book/5975/. Chapter 740. The opening of the buried Emperor star had undoubtedly set off a storm. It could be said that the final trial of this era's ancient road would definitely be extremely cruel and terrifying. If one didn't have some ability, even if they could reach the end of the ancient road, they would only be courting death. The buried Emperor star was undoubtedly the place where they could grasp the greatest opportunity. In the depths of the void, a beautiful figure in snow-white clothes flashed past. Her hair was as bright as snow, sparkling and translucent. It was Jiang Shengyi. A voice sounded in her mind. Shunyi, you must obtain the inheritance of the Queen Mother of the West on the buried Emperor star. It is very important to your innate Tao embryo. The source of this voice was the remnant soul in Jiang Shunyi's ring. It was the female headmaster of an ancient holy land. Now, she was also Jiang Shunyi's master. Master, don't worry. Disciple will definitely find the inheritance of the Queen Mother of the West. Jiang Shunyi's gaze was firm. She still had a goal in her heart. She wanted to follow in the footsteps of that person and not fall too far behind. The buried Emperor star has a special restriction of the laws of heaven and earth. Thus, it is difficult for Master to make a move. Everything will depend on you, the beautiful headmaster continued. Disciple understands. Disciple is now in the ancient road of the ultimate path. Not just anyone can provoke me. Jiang Shunyi revealed a confident smile. Although she was a famous goddess on the ancient road, her strength was still not weak. However, her strength could not be underestimated. She was revered by many. Oh right, will your man come to the buried Emperor star? The beautiful headmaster's tone was filled with gossip. She was indeed very curious. What kind of strange man could make her outstanding disciple so worried? Master, what are you talking about? Jiang Shunyi couldn't help but feel a bit shy. Her charming face was slightly red. Strictly speaking, Jun Xiaoyao hadn't given her any status yet. Their relationship hadn't been completely confirmed yet. It was indeed too early to talk about this. Then, Master said something wrong? The beautiful headmaster teased. That's not entirely. Jiang Shunyi wanted to say something but hesitated. Seeing her usually calm and intelligent disciple acting like this, the beautiful headmaster couldn't help but sigh. She was really getting more and more curious about this guy called Jun Xiaoyao. It doesn't matter whether or not we can meet Xiaoyao on the buried Emperor star. In any case, we will definitely meet at the end of the ancient path, murmured Jiang Shunyi. She would only truly be qualified to stand by Jun Xiaoyao's side and face any storm with him after she had truly gotten her hands on a great opportunity. Jiang Shunyi's eyes were resolute. He looked in the direction of the buried Emperor's star and flew over. At about the same time, in another direction, 3 figures were traversing the dark universe. One of them was none other than the 7 kill bandits, who had secretly observed Jun Xiaoyao before. As for the other 2, one of them wore a wolf mask while the other wore blood-red armor. The 2 of them were none other than Tarantula and Jungler. Greed, Army Destroyer, 7 kills, and the most mysterious immortal execution bandit. Of the 13 bandits, only the 4 of them were left. We are not far from the end of the ancient path. The buried Emperor star is our last chance, said Tarantula in a deep voice. That's right. If we miss this chance, it will be troublesome if we want to deal with Jiang Shunyi and Jun Xiaoyao in the future, said Army Destroyer. Are you sure you want to take action? Hearing this, 7 Kill Robber's expression was a little uncertain. What's wrong? I asked you to inquire about Jun Xiaoyao. Why are you so scared after coming back? Tarantula frowned. The 13 bandits had gone on a rampage and killed countless geniuses. But now, 7 kill robbers actually had a trace of fear in them. You haven't seen Jun Xiaoyao's ability with your own eyes and think it's easy to deal with him. 7 kill robbers' eyes were filled with fear. Don't worry. Boss will take action this time. We'll start from the weak. First, we'll find Jiang Luoli from the Jiang family. Then, we'll lure out Jiang Shunyi. Finally, we'll deal with Jun Xiaoyao, said Tarantula. With boss taking action, there should be no mistakes this time. We must not let Jun Xiaoyao grow. Otherwise, the immortal region will be a great threat to us, said Army Destroyer. The 13 bandits were originally from the foreign realm. However, no one else knew about this except for Jun Xiaoyao. When boss takes action and devours the sacred body of the ancients and the innate Taoist embryo, no one on this ancient path will be able to match us. Tarantula's eyes were burning with flames. The ancient path of the immortal region would eventually be dominated by the people of the foreign realm. Just thinking about it made him excited. Looking at Tarantula and Army Destroyer, 7 Kill Robbers secretly sighed. There was always an uneasy feeling in his heart. It was especially so after witnessing Jun Xiaoyao's powers. That kind of supreme pressure made him feel that he was even more powerful and terrifying than their boss, the immortal slaying robbers. I hope everything goes well, 7 Kill Robbers said to himself. In the midst of a star, there was a ship traversing through it. More than a dozen men and women stood on the ship, and all of them had an extraordinary temperament. There was a man and a woman in the lead. The man was slender and extraordinarily handsome. The woman was wearing a blue dress. She was tall and slender with long legs. Her skin was snow-white and sparkling like jade. Her long hair was also blue. It was like water ripples, and it shone like a mirror. Xianming, is it really okay for us to come out without saying anything? The blue-haired woman in the blue dress looked hesitant. So what? The buried Emperor Star is a rare opportunity. Besides, we stand aloof from worldly affairs and don't have conflicts with anyone. Not many people know about us, the man said with a smile. Although that's the case, don't forget that our Jun family is not unknown on the ancient road. For example, Brother Xiaoyao, who pushed through the ancient road, the blue-haired woman said. What do you mean? The Jun family has nothing to do with us. We are the hidden branch. Also, you don't have to call him brother, right? Jun Xianming frowned. Listening to their conversation, they were the geniuses of the Jun family's hidden branch. The blue-haired woman was called Jun Lanshi. No matter what, our bloodline is the same. Besides, Brother Xiaoyao is indeed very powerful. Jun Lanshi's blue eyes shone brightly. So what if he's powerful? My big brother is not weaker than him. It's just that our hidden branch is too low-key, so we're not famous. Jun Xianming seemed to dislike Jun Xiaoyao. When Jun Lanshi heard that, she knew what was going on. Jun Xianming admired his big brother the most. He had always thought that only his big brother was worthy of the identity of the Jun family's son of God. In the Jun family's hidden branch, there was no such identity as the Son of God. After all, the hidden branch was separated from the Jun family. Jun Xianming was feeling indignant for his big brother. Jun Lanshi had no intention of arguing. Now, the Jun family's hidden branch had 2 peerless geniuses. One was the big brother that Jun Xianming mentioned, Jun Yinhuang. The other person was Jun Qinyan. Chapter 741. Jun Yinhuang and Jun Qinyan were the top geniuses of the Jun family's hidden lineage. However, the Jun family's hidden lineage had always kept a low profile. Therefore, these 2 geniuses were not well known. They were not even famous on the ancient road. However, in the small circles of some of the top geniuses, they all knew about these 2 people. In comparison, Jun Xiaoyao from the Jun family's main lineage was much more famous. Ever since he stepped onto the Emperor Road, Jun Xiaoyao's name had never been quiet. He had been pushing his way through the ancient road. Jun Yinhuang and the others could not compare to his influence. Now, the young people of the Jun family's hidden lineage were divided into 2 camps. On one side, they were against Jun Xiaoyao's camp. This camp believed that the hidden lineage should continue to be isolated from the main lineage. Moreover, they also felt that Jun Yinhuang and Jun Qinyan were not much weaker than Jun Xiaoyao, Jun Maxiao, and Jun Lingsong from the main lineage. The other side, on the other hand, was filled with curiosity toward Jun Xiaoyao and the others, as well as a faint sense of admiration. They believed that no matter if it was the main or hidden lineage, they were all part of the Jun family. There was no need to divide them so clearly. Moreover, they were proud of Jun Xiaoyao's strength. Obviously, Jun Xianming was in the camp that disliked Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Lanshi was in the camp that supported him. All right, we don't need to quarrel over this matter. What we should focus on now is the opportunity on the buried Emperor Star. There was news that the buried Emperor Star contained the inheritance of our Jun family's ancestors. Jun Xuanming's eyes were burning with passion as he spoke. Cousin Qinyan told us that the ancient road battle was very dangerous. She told us not to act rashly. Jun Lanqi frowned. She was still hesitant. Are you afraid of this little danger? Are the geniuses of the hidden lineage weaker than the main lineage? Jun Xianming retorted. That's right. We can also obtain opportunities, another genius agreed. Sai, do as you wish. Let's see how you deal with it when it comes out. Jun Lanqi shook her head. The Jun family's hidden lineage was isolated from the world and kept a low profile. In a way, it was like a greenhouse. Jun Xianming and the others were like flowers in a greenhouse. They had never experienced anything. He didn't want the geniuses of the main bloodline to fight for a spot in the 10 echelon. This was the difference between the main and hidden veins. The main veins flourished, striving to reach the upper reaches, swimming in this world of great strife. On the other hand, the hidden lineage was content to stay in a corner. They believed that they should develop quietly and not show off their abilities. This was actually the difference in ideology between the main branch and the hidden branch. I wonder if Brother Xiaoyao can change this situation and merge the two forces? Jun Lanqi murmured in her heart. She wanted to see that happen. It was hard to imagine what would happen if the hidden lineage returned. How powerful would the Jun family become? The opening of the buried Emperor Star caused countless geniuses to rush over like ducks. The entire buried Emperor Star was bustling with noise. All sorts of peak-level geniuses that were rarely seen were now rushing towards the buried Emperor Star in groups. At about the same time, Jun Xiaoyao had been cultivating in seclusion. As far as he was concerned, there was no need for him to be in a hurry to find this and that opportunity. As long as he took one step at a time, he would be fine. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed. Inside an ancient star, Jun Xiaoyao sat cross-legged in the core of the star. At a certain moment, he suddenly opened his eyes. An extremely vast power of the primordial spirit spread outward. The entire star began to crack, unable to withstand such an impact. One had to know that this was not an impact of magic power, but of the soul. Just the power of the primordial spirit alone could shatter the star. How terrifying was that? It was not that simple to affect matter with one's soul. At this moment, in Jun Xiaoyao's mind, the seed of the past had been completely refined. 3 Dao flowers bloomed. On the flower in the middle sat the primordial spirit of the present. On the flower on the left, the primordial spirit of the past gradually condensed into a human form. In the end, it slowly took shape like a miniature version of Jun Xiaoyao. This was the primordial spirit of the past. As the primordial spirit of the past condensed, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit soul power once again reached a peak. Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit first cultivated the strength of the hell-crushing divine elephant, and the power of the primordial spirit also soared by 10 times. Then, it devoured the will of the immortal ancient world. It even condensed the primordial spirit of the present and the primordial spirit of the past. In terms of primordial spirit power alone, Jun Xiaoyao was now enough to shake off those supreme outlawed prodigies. If I were to measure the power of my primordial spirit now, it should have reached the boundless level, right? Jun Xiaoyao figured out. The power of the primordial spirit soul was also divided into levels. It was just that the primordial spirit was too difficult to cultivate, and ordinary people could not cultivate to a higher level. That was why the primordial spirit levels were not widely spread. The primordial spirit levels were divided into 8 levels according to quality and vigor. Ordinary level, exceptional level, boundless level, eternal sand level, void tribulation level, immortal level, and moksha level. Generally speaking, a saint realm powerhouse was around the level of a saint. For the primordial spirit level to reach the exceptional level was already extremely outstanding. In terms of primordial spirit, one could crush most powerhouses of the same level. As for the extraordinary level, it was rare. Generally speaking, Only powerhouses above the quasi-supreme level were able to cultivate their primordial spirit to the extraordinary level. As for Jun Xiaoyao, he was only at the great sage realm. Previously, the strength of his primordial spirit was already at the extraordinary level. Now, after cultivating, he directly broke through to the boundless level. What was the concept of the boundless level? The power of the primordial spirit was vast and immeasurable. It could be said that it was difficult for ordinary supremes to reach the boundless level. Unless one had a great opportunity or specialized in the primordial spirit Tao, it was possible to reach it. When I cultivate the future primordial spirit, will the level of my primordial spirit improve and reach the eternal sand level? Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. The eternal sand-level primordial spirit had countless thoughts in its mind, comparable to the number of grains of sand in the Ganges River. With a thought, it could search the endless universe. Cultivating all kinds of divine abilities and cultivation methods could be done with a thought. It could even vaguely see a trace of the veins in the dark. Why could those big shots above the quasi-emperor peek into fate, explore the long river of time, and deduce the changes in the world? It was because their primordial spirits had already reached the eternal sand level and above. If Jun Xiaoyao wanted to accurately deduce the changes in his inner universe, he would need the help of his primordial spirit. To put it simply, the higher the level of the primordial spirit, the more powerful the central processing unit. It could deal with all kinds of changes and had all kinds of miraculous effects. Oh right, there's also the primordial spirit attack technique that I comprehended with the help of the 100 reincarnations, Jun Xiaoyao said. He had been in seclusion for several months. Not only had he refined the seed of the past and condensed the primordial spirit of the past, he had also comprehended a primordial spirit attack technique that was exclusive to himself. Reincarnation tribulation. A soul vortex suddenly appeared in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. Vaguely, it was as if the 100 reincarnations had appeared. All kinds of scenes and thousands of karma intertwined within. One could imagine that if an enemy with a slightly weak willpower fell into the reincarnation tribulation, they would lose their sense of self. He would definitely lose himself in it. His primordial spirit would be completely wiped out, and he would become a walking corpse. The primordial spirit of the present gave Jun Xiaoyao the Vairocana that illuminated the various realms and suppressed everything. The primordial spirit of the past gave Jun Xiaoyao the reincarnation tribulation. With a glance, he could pull the enemy into the reincarnation illusion and control their life and death. It's about time to come out of seclusion. With a thought, Jun Xiaoyao's primordial spirit power erupted, turning into a vast storm. The entire star directly cracked, collapsed, and disintegrated, shattering a star with a thought. Chapter 742. After this period of cultivation, Jun Xiaoyao's cultivation base did not increase much. However, his primordial spirit had improved greatly and reached the unparalleled level. It could be said that among the younger generation, there was almost no one whose primordial spirit was higher than Jun Xiaoyao's. In terms of cultivation base, there were only a few people who had reached the great saint realm. They could be counted with one's fingers. Moreover, Jun Xiaoyao's strength was far from what an ordinary great saint realm expert could compare to. Using one's cultivation base to figure out Jun Xiaoyao's true strength was the most foolish thing to do. The ancient road of ultimate is almost finished, but there hasn't been an opponent that I'm interested in. Even Ling Yan, Gu Tizi, and the others are so boring. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head. He took a step and disappeared into the void. Jun Xiaoyao prepared to continue moving forward. Along the way, he heard about the opening of the buried Emperor Star. The buried Emperor Star? I can go and take a look, Jun Xiaoyao murmured. In the past, when the buried Emperor Star opened, a group of peerless geniuses on the ancient road of ultimate would gather. He hoped that there would be a few people who could make Jun Xiaoyao feel less bored this time. Jun Xiaoyao shuttled through space and headed toward the buried Emperor Star at lightning speed. The buried Emperor Star had been open for a period of time. Many geniuses were fighting for supremacy and looking for opportunities. From time to time, there would be news of some geniuses obtaining peerless inheritances and rising up. There was no lack of opportunities on the buried Emperor Star that would allow one to soar to the sky. At this moment, on a continent of the buried Emperor Star, more than a dozen figures were walking in the air. They were Jun Lanxi, Jun Xianming, and other hidden geniuses who had rushed to the buried Emperor Star. If the rumors are correct, the ruins should be in the depths of this continent, Jun Xianming said. I still think that we should inform cousin Qinyan and the others first, Jun Lanxi said hesitantly. Jun Lanxi, are you still considered a genius of the hidden lineage? If the people of the main lineage see us cowering, how will they look up to us? Jun Xianming said with some dissatisfaction. He wanted the people of the Jun family's main lineage to see. The prodigies of the hidden lineage were all powerful and outstanding. Jun Lanxi didn't say anything more. She knew that Jun Xianming had been with Jun Yin Emperor since he was a child, and was used to being protected. They had no idea how cruel the outside world was. In fact, most of the prodigies in the hidden lineage had been cultivating in the hidden lineage and rarely came out to train. About several hours later, up ahead was an undulating mountain range. Immortal light was dense, purple energy surged, jade grass and strange flowers were everywhere, and auspicious beasts were prancing about. There is indeed an opportunity here. Jun Xianming's eyes lit up. He couldn't wait any longer. Jun Lanxi secretly raised her thoughts. They stepped into the mountain range, where there were many old herbs that were thousands of years old. However, just as they were about to pick it, suddenly, the entire mountain range was covered in runic arrays. All kinds of formation runes were imprinted in the void, spinning and moving like star orbit. Seeing this scene, the expressions of some of the hidden lineages changed. A hint of surprise flashed in Jun Xianming's eyes, but his expression was generally calm. Who is it? Jun Lanxi shouted coldly. They didn't panic too much. After all, they were the prodigies of the Jun family's hidden lineage. They still had the confidence. Haha, I originally thought that the sequences of the Jun family would be plotted against. I didn't expect that the ones who took the bait would be a group of people I didn't expect. In the void far away, suns appeared in the sky. They were the crown princes of the Sun God Mountain. On the boat of creation, 5 of the Golden Crow princes had died. Now there were only 5 left. Among them was the strongest, the 10 princes of Jinwu. His hair was as bright as gold, and his eyes were also golden. He had a kind of transcendental aura. He had the ancient Golden Crow bloodline and the rare Sun Saint constitution. The 10 princes of Jinwu was considered to have some shadow of the Golden Crow Arch when he was young. Not to mention him, even the other 4 crown princes were all dragons and phoenixes among men with extraordinary cultivation. Sun God Mountain. Jun Lanxi frowned slightly. Brothers, I don't think there is any enmity between us, right? Jun Xianming said in a low voice. They were clearly here to search for an opportunity. Now, it seemed that they had been set up. This made Jun Xianming's mood not very good. He felt like a fool. No enmity? Ha! Didn't my brothers die at the hands of Jun Xiaoyao? The 10 princes of Jinwu said coldly. Jun Xianming was stunned when he heard that. Then, he said, you are looking for trouble with the Jun family's son of God. What does it have to do with us? Jun Xianming felt very wronged. He had been set up for nothing. It doesn't matter. Your surname is also Jun. You also have the blood of the Jun family flowing in your bodies. We will capture you and then let Jun Xiaoyao come and die. The 10 princes of Jinwu's words were filled with killing intent. He was very confident in his strength. Besides, the Sun God Mountain was not the only one who wanted to deal with Jun Xiaoyao. As for the main and hidden branches, he didn't care about them. It was enough to lure Jun Xiaoyao here. 10 Princes of Jinwu, you have gone too far. My hidden branch keeps a low profile. You don't have the right to be arrogant. Jun Xianming frowned. Although the hidden branch of the Jun family kept a low profile, it was still the Jun family. Not everyone could provoke it. Even if it was a force of the same level, they had to think carefully. Do you think I am the only one who is dissatisfied with Jun Xiaoyao? The 10 Princes of Jinwu sneered. At this time, 2 more figures appeared. One of them was filled with a holy aura and wisps of faith power wrapped around his body. It was an extremely aloof man wearing a holy robe. It was Sheng Tianyi, the leader of the 8 holy sons of the Gulan cult. The other one was wearing a golden dragon armor and had a golden dragon horn on his forehead. He held a golden dragon spear in his hand and had a handsome face. There was always a cold and arrogant crooked smile at the corner of his mouth. It was the young Dragon King of the Dragon King Palace, Xian Yi. The Dragon King Palace had also intervened in the Jun family's immortal battle. This Xian Yi was known as the Little Dragon King. He was one of the top outlawed sky prides in the Dragon King Palace. Seeing these 2 people appear, Jun Xianming, Jun Lanqi, and the others' expressions changed completely. With these people joining forces, no one could stop them unless Jun Yinhuang and Jun Qinyan showed up. Although they were strong, it would be difficult for them to escape from such a formation. The 10 Princes of Jinwu slowly raised his hand and began to activate the formation. In an instant, many formation patterns sealed the mountain range. At the same time, various killing lights appeared in the void. They were extremely bright and powerful. Jun Xianming, Jun Lanqi, and the others hurriedly retreated and formed a circle to resist the formation's suppression. Sheng Tianyi and Xian Yi did not make a move. They did not care about Jun Xianming and the others. They only cared about Jun Xiaoyao. It could be said that the fastest way to become famous on the ancient road of ultimate was to trample Jun Xiaoyao underfoot. Not to mention that the forces behind them had conflicts with Jun Xiaoyao. It was difficult to reconcile. Jun Xianming, this is great. Jun Lanqi gritted her teeth. She did not expect her ominous premonition to become reality. However, the only thing to be happy about was that the 10 Princes of Jinwu and the others did not kill them immediately. They were obviously using them as bait. How can you blame me? It's all Jun Xiaoyao's fault. If he didn't make so many enemies, our hidden lineage would not be implicated. Chapter 743. Jun Xianming didn't reflect on his behavior. Instead, he pushed all the blame onto Jun Xiaoyao. If Jun Xiaoyao didn't make so many enemies, their hidden branch wouldn't be implicated. Jun Xianming, you. Even Jun Lanqi was speechless. She didn't expect Jun Xianming to have such thoughts. Jun Xiaoyao fought in all directions, swept the ancient road, and raised the prestige of the Jun family. When everyone mentioned Jun Xiaoyao and the Jun family, they were all full of awe and admiration. However, in Jun Xuanming's words, Jun Xiaoyao was like a troublemaker. What, am I wrong? Our hidden branch lives in seclusion and pays attention to peace, not to stir up trouble and fight everywhere, Jun Xianming said. Jun Lanqi sighed deeply. Jun Xianming was a flower in a greenhouse after all. She now also felt that there was something wrong with the hidden branch. There was something wrong with their thinking. All kinds of creatures competed for freedom in the frost world. Competition was the law of nature. It could never be escaped. But now was not the time to discuss this. They were like turtles in a jar, unable to resist. Will that Xiaoyao brother really come? Jun Lanqi couldn't help but think. She had heard so much about Jun Xiaoyao that her ears grew calluses. However, she hadn't really seen him yet. The news that the geniuses of the hidden branch of the Jun family were trapped spread out. Some geniuses who didn't know much were a little confused. They didn't understand what the hidden branch of the Jun family meant. As for those who knew a little about it, they all revealed surprised expressions. In this world of great battles, even the hidden branch of the Jun family began to walk in the world? If this was the case, would it have any connection with the main branch of the Jun family? This was no small matter. If the hidden branch returned, the overall strength of the Jun family would definitely skyrocket. At that time, even if the Xian Ting reorganized, it wouldn't be so easy to deal with the Jun family. Many geniuses rushed to the place where Jun Lanshi and the others were trapped, wanting to find out. And just the 3 top taboos, the 10 princes of Jinwu, Xing Tianyi, and Xian Yi, were enough to attract attention. They were also very curious. If the son of God of the Jun family really came to the buried Emperor Star, would he stand up for the hidden branch that he had never met before? Many people in the buried Emperor Star were looking at the 10 princes of Jinwu and the others. Another conspiracy was being carried out quietly. On the buried Emperor's Star, in an ancient archipelago, a lithe and delicate little beauty was leaping between the archipelago like a rabbit. Her black hair and twin ponytails moved up and down with the girl's movements. The young girl had bright eyes and white teeth. Her skin was as fair as snow, and she was extremely beautiful. There were 2 dimples on her snow-white and tender face, making her even more charming. Who else could it be but Jiang Luoli? On this buried Emperor Star, where is the opportunity that belongs to me? Jiang Luoli was somewhat vexed. She had been searching for all kinds of opportunities to strengthen herself. Jiang Luoli also heard news about Jun Xiaoyao and Jiang Xingyi from time to time. There was no need to mention Jun Xiaoyao. To him, miracles were something that could be created with a wave of his hand. However, Jiang Xingyi had also completely risen and had now become the most eye-catching existence on the ancient road. Her beauty and strength were on par. To be honest, Jiang Luoli was a little upset. Although she was also the apple of the Jiang family's eye and had the elemental spirit Dao body, compared to the innate spirit Dao body, it was still a little inferior. Of course, it was only a little inferior. After all, the elemental spirit Dao body could also be combined with the sacred body of the ancients to form the terrifying elemental spirit sacred body. The elemental spirit sacred body was not much weaker than the innate spirit Dao body. If the elemental spirit sacred body was born with almost unlimited magic power and an unparalleled physical body, it would be enough to dominate the world. Luoli, you have to work hard to become stronger. Jiang Luoli patted her jade-like cheeks with her small hands, and her starry eyes were burning with fighting spirit. Although Jun Xiaoyao was already very far ahead, she still would not give up. She did not want Jun Xiaoyao to ignore her existence. However, at this moment, Jiang Luoli suddenly stopped. She sensed a trace of disorder in the spirit qi of heaven and earth. The elemental spirit Dao body could not only absorb a huge amount of spirit qi of heaven and earth at all times, it could also use the elemental energy of heaven and earth to comprehend the origin energy of heaven and earth. All kinds of subtle changes could not escape the elemental spirit Dao body's detection. Jiang Luoli's heart thumped, and her footsteps began to move quickly. At this moment, 3 figures appeared directly from behind. We've been discovered. Attack! These 3 people were the Tarantula Bandits, the Army Destroyer Bandits, and the 7 Murderous Bandits. Jiang Luoli's small face changed color. The 13 bandits of the ancient road were definitely existences that made people tremble in fear. Most importantly, they would surround and kill people with all kinds of bloodlines and constitutions. Jiang Luoli also had the elemental spirit Dao body, so she was definitely worthy of being a target. Damn it, they're targeting me! Jiang Luoli's figure flashed rapidly, and her magic power surged out as if it was free. One of the characteristics of the elemental spirit Dao body was that it had almost limitless magic power. Because this kind of constitution could absorb spirit qi of heaven and earth at all times, there was no need to worry about the sea of qi drying up. Attack! Tarantula's trio's eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. Jiang Luoli misunderstood a little. The main reason they targeted her was not because of the elemental spirit Dao body. Instead, they wanted to capture her and use her to force Jiang Xingyi. Of course, the elemental spirit Dao body could also be absorbed by the immortal slaying bandits afterward. Tarantula waved her hand, and the pitch-black demonic net spread out, enveloping Jiang Luoli. "Don't come over." Ah! Jiang Luoli was like a small volcano, constantly spewing magic power. All kinds of great magical powers appeared, destroying heaven and earth. She was like a walking Gatling gun, constantly unleashing firepower. "Damn it, is this little girl's magic power endless?" The army destroyer bandit cursed under his breath. The pitch-black demonic net was directly torn apart by the tide of magical powers. As expected of a top-tier elemental spirit Tao body, but it's impossible for you to escape from us. We'll suppress you first, then force Jiang Shengyi out. The strength of Tarantula's trio was far beyond that of the previous bandits. Their strength had reached the midstage of the Saint King realm. Jiang Luoli's current cultivation was at the early stage of the Saint King realm. Therefore, even if the elemental spirit Tao body had endless magic power and could borrow the origin energy of heaven and earth, however, it was still a little difficult to deal with Tarantula's trio. Hearing Tarantula's trio's words, Jiang Luoli came to a sudden realization. It turned out that their main goal was not her elemental spirit Tao body, but to deal with Jiang Shengyi. After dealing with Jiang Shengyi, they would naturally deal with Jun Xiaoyao. Jiang Luoli was very smart, and she immediately understood. The leader of the 13 bandits, the immortal slaying bandit, was so ambitious that he wanted to devour the innate spirit Tao body and the sacred body of the ancients at the same time. Of course, her elemental spirit Tao body would not let them go after that. Thinking of this, Jiang Luoli's big eyes revealed a hint of anxiety. She did not want to be a burden anymore. She did not want to drag down Jiang Shengyi and Jun Xiaoyao. Greedy wolf heart devouring claw. Army destroying slash. 7 killing breath. The three of them used their ultimate moves, and their magic power vibrated. The terrifying moves shattered many of the surrounding islands. Huge waves surged, and the seawater was split in half. Jiang Luoli also fought back. She was hit by the impact, and a trace of blood flowed down from the corner of her pink lip. At this moment, an inexplicable fluctuation suddenly spread in front of them. Jiang Luoli glanced over. It was a door in the middle of the islands. It was extremely dark, and the surrounding sky and earth were dark. The door of life and death. It was one of the most famous opportunities on the buried Emperor Star, but not many people dared to enter. 9 deaths and 1 life was not enough to describe the danger inside. When Jiang Luoli saw this, her big sparkling eyes revealed a wisp of determination and determination. She was short, but she would definitely not be a burden. She did not want to be kidnapped like before, and in the end, she had to rely on Jun Xiaoyao to save her. Big brother Xiaoyao, Luoli is not afraid of death, but Luoli is afraid that I can't even catch up to your back. Jiang Luoli's bright eyes were resolute. Without hesitation, she rushed toward the door of life and death. She pushed it open, and her petite body disappeared inside. For a better reading experience, please visit the mobile version of the website, /book/5975/. Chapter 744. Tarantula and the other 2 looked grim as they watched Jiang Luoli disappear into the door of life and death. Their plan had failed. Why is this girl so stubborn? She doesn't match the rumors. Defeating army bandits' expression was gloomy. Bandits like them would always investigate the details of their prey before they went out to hunt. They naturally knew some information about Jiang Luoli. As the apple of the Jiang family's eye, Jiang Luoli had been doted on since she was young. Although she was like a flower in a greenhouse, she was not far off. She was often taken care of by Jiang Shengyi and Jun Xiaoyao, so she was naive and innocent. Logically speaking, Jiang Luoli should have surrendered after being surrounded by them and waited for Jiang Shengyi or Jun Xiaoyao to save her. But the result was Jiang Luoli would rather enter the dangerous door of life and death than be captured by them. This was out of their expectations. What should we do next? 7 kills bandit asked. He had an ominous feeling in his heart. Jiang Luoli entering the door of life and death was basically over. They had completely offended Jun Xiaoyao. It was hard to imagine how Jun Xiaoyao would react if he knew about this. I won't enter the door of life and death to die. Defeating army bandit shook his head. Entering the door of life and death was almost certain death. The number of prodigies who had walked out of the door of life and death could be counted with one's fingers. Let's contact boss and let him make a decision, Tarantula said. They had originally planned to use Jiang Luoli to threaten Jiang Xingyi. Now that Jiang Luoli had entered the door of life and death, the entire plan had to be abandoned. They still had to listen to the immortal slaying bandits arrangement. At this moment, Jiang Xingyi still didn't know that Jiang Luoli was being targeted by bandits and forced into the door of life and death. She was traveling in an ancient land. Master, is it in this area? Jiang Xingyi murmured in his heart. That's right. It's that aura. As the former headmaster of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground, I'm very familiar with it, said the beautiful headmaster. Her name was Yu Qingning, and she was the first sect master of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. The Queen Mother of the West is the founder of our Jade Lake Sacred Ground. She also has an innate spirit embryo. Not only that, but she also evolved her innate spirit embryo to the highest level and cultivated a 12 apertures immortal heart. 12 apertures immortal heart. Jiang Xingyi murmured. The heart of 7 orifices Ling Long was the heart of a saint. As for the innate Taoist embryo, if it transformed, it would give birth to the 9-orifice Ling Long Taoist heart, which was the heart of Tao affirmation and monarch. Further up was the 12 apertures immortal heart. If one could cultivate a 12 apertures immortal heart, then they would have the qualifications to become an immortal. Don't think it's just a trace. One had to know that even the most terrifying great emperors would fight for a trace of a chance to become an immortal. They would even set up a trap for eternity. Xingyi, if you can get the inheritance of the Queen Mother of the West this time, not to mention the 12 apertures immortal heart, you can at least cultivate a 9-orifice Linglong Taoist heart, Yu Qingning said. Xingyi, you must get the inheritance. Jiang Xingyi's eyes were bright with determination. It was because she knew Jun Xiaoyao that she understood how terrifying Jun Xiaoyao's talent was. He was an anomaly, a peerless monster, and an unfathomable existence. He was invincible among the younger generation and had never been defeated. Jun Xiaoyao's halo was too terrifying. He was the only one in history. Not to mention standing shoulder to shoulder with Jun Xiaoyao, even trying to catch up with him would be a very difficult task. So, Jiang Xingyi wouldn't let go of any chance to become stronger. In front of her was a dilapidated ancient palace. Jiang Xingyi entered. In an instant, she seemed to have returned to the ancient Jade Lake Sacred Ground. There were clusters of flowers, grass, and spirit beasts. It was as if she had returned to the ancient times and arrived at the most prosperous period of the Jade Lake Sacred Ground. Xingyi, the test has begun. If you can pass it, you will get the greatest opportunity. Yu Qingning's voice sounded in Jiang Xingyi's mind. However, Yu Qingning thought that this test wouldn't be too difficult for Jiang Xingyi. Jiang Xingyi was one of the most talented juniors she had ever seen. Otherwise, she wouldn't have chosen her as her disciple. More importantly, she, the former sect master of the Jade Lake, was there. There was no doubt that Jiang Xingyi would pass the test. It was only a matter of time. Just as Jiang Xingyi was about to take the test, in a place not far from this ancient land, 2 figures could be seen traversing through the void. One of them was a woman with hair like clouds. Her skin was crystal clear and her body was shrouded in 9 colors. There were 9 divine halos behind her head that sprinkled runic radiance. The Tao law of order entwined around her, making her look like a goddess. If anyone was here and saw this woman, they would definitely be surprised. She was none other than the famous 9 transformations Celestial Silkworm of the Celestial Silkworm Valley, known as Princess Celestial Silkworm. The 9 divine halos behind her head were the symbol of her 9 transformations. Beside her was a handsome man with an evil aura. He was shrouded in demonic chi as if a peerless demon king was hidden in his body. He was the outlawed sky pride of the ancient heavenly demon temple, Yao Yuekong. The ancient heavenly demon temple was a famous immortal faction of the demon race. Yao Yuekong admired Princess Celestial Silkworm. This time, he took the initiative to ask to explore the opportunity with Princess Celestial Silkworm. Princess Celestial Silkworm refused at first and didn't care about Yao Yuekong at all. However, Yao Yuekong was too persistent. Princess Celestial Silkworm also felt that there was nothing wrong with having another tool, so she let him be. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground ruins should be in this ancient place. Princess Celestial Silkworm whispered. As the 9 transformations Celestial Silkworm of the Celestial Silkworm Valley, Princess Celestial Silkworm's talent was without a doubt. She was definitely one of the most terrifying figures on the ancient Ultimate Road. Her goal this time was the Jade Lake Sacred Grounds inheritance. It would be even better if she could obtain the legendary Jade Lake Immortal Sutra. In fact, if she could find some clues about Queen Mother of the West, it would definitely be a great harvest. It would be of great help to her. Don't worry. I will definitely help you obtain the Jade Lake's inheritance, Yao Yuekong said affectionately as his eyes revealed a hint of infatuation. Beautiful women were very attractive. Beautiful and powerful women were even more attractive. Although he was a taboo successor of the ancient heavenly demon temple, it wasn't easy to woo Princess Celestial Silkworm. Yes, thank you. Princess Celestial Silkworm nodded lightly. By the way, your divine Silkworm Valley's essence, Silkworm Daozi, and 8 transformations, Celestial Silkworm perished one after another. Could it be that someone is secretly targeting you? Yao Yuekong asked. Princess Celestial Silkworm's expression froze when she heard that. Recently, the divine Silkworm Valley wasn't doing too well. 8 transformations Celestial Silkworm perished while exploring Black Abyss. As for Essence Silkworm Daozi, Princess Celestial Silkworm paused when she said that. Yao Yuekong's expression also turned solemn. The reason was simple. Essence Silkworm Daozi's death was related to Jun Xiaoyao. As for Jun Xiaoyao, who was he? He was a supreme figure who would feel reverence whenever his name was mentioned on the ancient Ultimate Road. Even someone as strong as Yao Yuekong was extremely wary of such a figure. Chapter 745. Primordial Silkworm Daozi is still too rash. He doesn't know how to size up the situation. Princess Divine Silkworm sighed lightly. If she had been present, Primordial Silkworm Daozi wouldn't have died. Princess Divine Silkworm knew that if she were to face Jun Xiaoyao, she might not be able to defeat him, but she could still deal with him calmly. I don't think it's Primordial Silkworm Daozi's fault. It's mainly because Jun Xiaoyao is too arrogant and unscrupulous, said Yao Yuekong with a smile. He admired Princess Divine Silkworm, so he naturally stood on her side. There's no need to pay attention to Jun Xiaoyao. He's indeed very powerful, but he might not be a fatal threat to me. Princess Divine Silkworm extended her jade-like hand to stroke her smooth and long hair. As a rare 9 transformations Celestial Silkworm in Divine Silkworm Valley, she had the confidence to face Jun Xiaoyao. Don't worry. When the time comes, I'll stand by your side. Yao Yuekong smiled, revealing his snow-white teeth that shimmered with luster. Princess Divine Silkworm declined to comment. Although Yao Yuekong was a taboo successor of the ancient Heaven Fei, he was still inferior to Jun Xiaoyao. As though he saw the contempt in Princess Divine Silkworm's eyes, Yao Yuekong's smile faded slightly. He was a taboo successor of the ancient Heaven Fei after all. Did he not care about his reputation? Jun Xiaoyao, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Yao Yuekong muttered to himself. He and Princess Divine Silkworm rushed to the Jade Lake Sacred Ground ruins. And on the other side, in a hidden ancient cave, 3 figures flashed in. They were none other than Tarantula and company. They arrived at the end of the ancient cave. The air was filled with chaotic dermic powers fluctuations. All sorts of powers were mixed within. At the same time, a terrifying pressure emanated. The three of them held their breaths and entered. In the deepest part of the ancient cave there was a blood pool. This blood pool was colorful and contained all sorts of treasured blood and rare bloodlines. Apart from that, there were also some broken limbs, eyeballs, and bones. One of the eyeballs was extremely dark and gloomy. Its pupil contained deep runes. It was the heavenly nether devil eye. With a glance, it could pull a person into the netherworld mirage. There was another piece of bone with a colorful luster, flowing with elemental power. That was the 5 elemental Tao bone. Although it was far from a top-notch physique like the Supreme Being bone, it was still one of the top several hundred physiques among the 3,000. If a person possessed the 5 elemental Tao bone, they could easily control the power of the 5 elements. It could be said that any strand of blood or bone in this blood pool could be considered a precious treasure. If ordinary geniuses were to obtain and refine it, it would definitely be a great opportunity for them. And at this moment, so many bloodlines and constitutions were actually gathered in a pool. A figure was sitting cross-legged in the middle of the pool. It was a slender young girl, wearing a black silk dress that was as dark as the night. Her slender arms and slender legs were exposed. They were all very tender, and her skin was so white that it was almost transparent. There was not a trace of blood in it. Some bandages were wrapped around her arms and thighs. A head of fine black hair flowed down from her shoulders, falling into the blood pool like a black waterfall, staining it with blood. From her slender, swan-like neck, one could see her delicate, butterfly-like collarbones. There was a scarlet-red spider lily engraved on her collarbone. The young girl's pale skin set off this spider lily, which was incomparably enchanting. As for her face, it was covered by a ghost mask. The ghost mask looked like it was crying and laughing at the same time, as if it was mocking the world and also mocking itself. "Boss!" Tarantula, the army bandit, and the 7 murderous bandits bowed to the young girl. This young girl was the leader of the 13 bandits, the immortal slaying bandit. Perhaps many people would not have thought that the leader of the 13 bandits, the immortal slaying bandit, was actually a young girl wearing a ghost mask. "You messed up." The young girl spoke slowly, her voice as ethereal as rain and as cold as frost. Tarantula and the other 2 felt their hearts tighten, and they almost stopped breathing. It was hard to imagine that Tarantula and the others, who were like demons in the eyes of many geniuses, would have such an expression at this moment. There was only one meaning behind this. The immortal slaying bandit was so terrifying that even Tarantula and the others felt fear in their hearts. "Boss, we didn't know that Jiang Luoli had the courage to barge into the door of life and death. Otherwise, we would have captured her alive." The army bandit cupped his hands and said. The immortal slaying bandit did not reply. The ancient cave was silent for a moment. Tarantula and the other 2 were drenched in cold sweat. They were all Sage King experts, but at this moment they felt uneasy in their hearts. After a long time, the immortal slaying bandit said, "You guys can leave now. Observe the movements of the buried Emperor Star, and pay close attention to Jiang Xingyi and Jun Xiaoyao." "Yes." "Then, boss, the next plan," Tarantula said. "After I devour these bloodlines, I will go find Jiang Xingyi and personally extract the Xiantian Dao embryo from her body." The immortal slaying bandit's voice was indifferent. It was hard to imagine that such cruel words would come out of the young girl's mouth in such an indifferent and casual manner. "Yes." Tarantula and the others cupped their hands and left. Only the immortal slaying bandit was left in the ancient cave. She slowly raised her hand and a seal of doctrine floated in her palm. The immortal slaying bandit was also one of the 7 defiant sovereigns. Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao. Why does this name give me a strange feeling? The immortal slaying bandit murmured to herself. She thought that her heart was already dead. She was already dead after she killed that person with her own hand. But now, she didn't know why, but after hearing the name Jun Xiaoyao again, she felt a strange feeling in her heart. Forget it. It doesn't matter. Next, I just need to devour the Xiantian Dao embryo and refine the sacred body of the ancient. Then, my life level will evolve again. As long as I become strong enough, I can enter the cycle of reincarnation and go to the other side. The immortal slaying bandit murmured and touched the red spider lily mark on her collarbone with one hand. She held the monarch seal of Dao validation in her other hand and merged it with her body without hesitation. Boom! Dermic powers surged in the immortal slaying bandit's body. Many black divine chains of order shot out from her body and wrapped around her treasured bones, arms, eyeballs, true blood, and so on. They were absorbing the divine power, essence, origin, and so on. The immortal slaying bandit's body was like a chaotic black hole. It was extremely ordinary, but it could refine and contain everything. After merging with the seal of doctrine, the immortal slaying bandit's realm was rising at an extremely terrifying speed. As she merged with the seal of doctrine, it also meant that she had inherited the destiny of the 7 defiant sovereigns. She had to kill Jun Xiaoyao. The entire buried Emperor Star was in a treacherous situation. There were geniuses who had obtained the Boundary Emperor's treasures and soared to the sky. There were also geniuses who were framed or plotted against and died on this star forever. At this moment, outside the buried Emperor Star, a white-robed figure emerged from the torn void. Immortal radiance was vast and mighty, and divine clouds filled the air. He was like a blurry white-robed god. This is the buried Emperor Star. This figure was naturally Jun Xiaoyao. He could feel that there were many ancient opportunities buried on the buried Emperor Star. He cultivated with a treasured book and was extremely good at finding treasures. I wonder if I can meet some acquaintances on the buried Emperor Star? Jun Xiaoyao asked. He did not deliberately look for those acquaintances because he wanted them to get their own experience. Just as Jun Xiaoyao approached the buried Emperor Star, the half of the chaotic ancient Emperor talisman in his possession suddenly trembled slightly. It was as if there was some kind of resonance. Oh? A fish has taken the bait so quickly? Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed with a trace of light. It was time to harvest again. Chapter 746. On a desolate continent of the buried Emperor Star, a pagoda stood silently on the ground. This pagoda was rusty and extremely ancient. It was as if it had been buried underground for millions of years before finally seeing the light of day again. The entire pagoda was over 10,000 feet tall and had a total of 1,000 floors. It towered into the clouds. The other treasures of the buried Emperor Star were either overflowing with immortal qi, mysterious, or surging with great Dao runes and intertwining with divine chains of order. Only this pagoda did not seem to be attractive other than being a little taller. It looked simple and ordinary. However, at this moment, many sky prides appeared around this pagoda. Their eyes were burning as if they were waiting for this pagoda to open. I wonder how many floors I can pass this time when the chaotic ancient pagoda opens? This pagoda is not easy to pass. There are 1,000 marks of powerhouses on each floor. They were all enemies of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor when he was young. Do you think you can compare to the ancient Chaos Great Emperor? Many sky prides were whispering to each other. This pagoda was similar to the Gate of Life and Death. It was also a well-known place of opportunity on the buried Emperor Star. Although it did not have any strange phenomena surrounding it, it did not look particularly eye-catching. However, it was related to the legendary powerhouse, the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. In previous eras, when the buried Emperor Star opened, the chaotic ancient pagoda was definitely the most lively place of opportunity. This was because the chaotic ancient pagoda could give the sky prides of the current generation a chance to measure their strength. The higher the floors, the closer their aptitude would be to the ancient Chaos Great Emperors. Many sky prides were eager to fight, and their morale was high. Many of them were famous immortal descendants and outlawed sky prides of the ancient road. However, even they did not dare to say that they could reach the top floor. It was very difficult to even pass the 900th floor. Not many sky prides had been able to do so since ancient times. Ba. I've been looking forward to the chaotic ancient pagoda for a long time. Today I'm here to try it. In the distance a golden light surged. A young monk riding a white jade lion arrived. It's the godson of the Western sect, Brahma. Some people looked at him. This was a famous young Buddhist powerhouse on the ancient road. Previously, he had also appeared at the ancient heavenly underworld temple of the ancient heavenly underworld star. However, he did not have any conflict with Jun Xiaoyao. I'm also interested in this chaotic ancient pagoda. A voice as clear as a silver bell rang out. A gorgeous carriage crossed the void and a woman stepped out from it. She was dressed in a gold-threaded robe and wore a gold-threaded biao on her head. She was graceful, luxurious, and extraordinarily beautiful. Her features were picturesque, her lips and teeth were sparkling and translucent, and her muscles and bones were soft and supple. Her outstanding beauty was enough to make 100 flowers lose their splendor. It's Princess Yunshang of the Yu Huajin dynasty. I wonder if her brother is here? Some of the sky prides were stunned when they saw the noble lady. Princess Yunshang, Yu Yunshang, came from the Yu Huajin dynasty. As the strongest immortal Jin dynasty, the Yu Huajin dynasty was equally famous in the Nine Heavens immortal realm. Their founding ancestor was the famous feather transformation immortal emperor of the immortal realms. He was a legendary expert on par with the Qin clan's founding emperor. As for the younger generation of the Yu Jin dynasty, they would naturally not remain silent in this era of great strife. The Yu Jin dynasty's supreme outlawed sky pride was known as the Yu Hua King. Princess Yunshang was the younger sister of the Yu Hua King. Yu Yunshang grew up under the care of her brother, the Yu Hua King, and naturally developed a playful and naive personality. Due to the Yu Hua King, not many sky prides on the ultimate ancient road dared to provoke this princess. They would all show the Yu Hua King some respect. It seems like only Princess Yunshang is here this time. Her brother, the Yu Hua King, is not here. That's normal. The chaotic ancient pagoda isn't the only fortuitous encounter in the buried Emperor Star. Perhaps the Yu Hua King has obtained other rare inheritances. If the Yu Hua King is here, he might be able to reach the 900th floor. Many people were discussing. Hearing these discussions, Yu Yunshang revealed a proud smile. The person she admired the most was her brother, the Yu Hua King. If my brother is here, he might be able to reach the top floor, Yu Yunshang thought. However, the Yu Hua King was currently searching for the traces left behind by the Yu Hua Emperor on the buried Emperor Star. Therefore, he did not come. There weren't many fortuitous encounters in the buried Emperor Star, but the chaotic ancient emperor wasn't the only one. The Yu Hua Emperor, the Queen Mother of the West, and many others had left their traces on this ancient star. At this moment, the entire chaotic ancient pagoda suddenly began to tremble. An ancient desolate aura filled the air. It was accompanied by an intense battle intent. This intense battle intent seemed to be able to overturn the heavens. It was filled with boundless fighting spirit. In many people's minds, an unyielding figure seemed to have appeared. Plop! A large number of sky prides knelt down under the pressure of the battle intent. Even Fan Tian, Yu Yunshang, and the other undying successors felt a suffocating pressure. The chaotic ancient pagoda is about to open, some sky prides shouted. Rumble! Just as the chaotic ancient pagoda was about to open, a rumbling sound could be heard from afar. A figure was walking over with majestic step. Every step he took resonated with the heavens and earth. At the same time, there was a terrifying battle intent that seemed to be of the same origin as the chaotic ancient pagoda. That person is Yu Yunshang, Fan Tian, and the others looked over at the same time. It was a young man in a black and gold robe. His face was devilishly handsome, and he had a domineering aura about him. He also exuded a strong battle intent, as if he was trying to resonate with the chaotic ancient pagoda. The son of god of the Qin clan, Qin Wudao. Many sky prides were shocked. However, after thinking about it, they felt that it was within their expectations. It was rumored that Qin Wudao had obtained the inheritance of the ancient Chaos Emperor and was the legitimate successor of the ancient Chaos Emperor. However, no one could verify this news. However, one thing was certain. Qin Wudao had the ancient Chaos Emperor's incomplete Emperor artifact, the ancient Chaos Emperor's talisman. Just based on this relationship, Qin Wudao would not miss the opportunity to open the chaotic ancient pagoda. Qin Wudao. Fantian's eyes were filled with seriousness. Fortunately, the chaotic ancient pagoda was mainly testing the strength of the ancient Chaos Emperor's opponents when he was young. It was not a competition between sky prides. So handsome and his aura is so strong. However, compared to him, my brother is still stronger. Yu Yunchang muttered in her heart. As the son of god of the ancient Chaos family, Qin Wudao's strength was unquestionable. However, in Yu Yunchang's heart, she was still biased towards her brother. She felt that her brother was stronger. The Western sect and the Ascension Jin dynasty. Qin Wudao glanced at Fantian and Yu Yunchang, then retracted his gaze. If it's the reincarnated Bodhisattva D and the Ascension Emperor, then I will pay attention. Qin Wudao did not care about the two of them. What do you mean? Are you looking down on us? Yu Yunchang wrinkled her nose, feeling a little unhappy. However, after sensing Qin Wudao's overbearing battle intent, she was tactful enough to let it go. Qin Wudao stepped into the chaotic ancient pagoda. Amit Ba. Lord Brahma chanted the name of Buddha and entered as well. I don't believe that my strength will shock all of you. Yu Yunchang snorted and also entered the chaotic ancient pagoda. The Ascension Emperor was the supreme taboo of the Ascension Jin dynasty. As the Ascension Emperor's sister, Yu Yunchang was naturally not weak. Seeing these few people enter the chaotic ancient pagoda, the rest of the undying descendants and sky prides also swarmed into the chaotic ancient pagoda. At this moment, the sky prides who had yet to enter the chaotic ancient pagoda suddenly felt an extremely oppressive aura. This oppressive aura was not much weaker than the battle intent of the chaotic ancient pagoda. Many sky prides who were not suppressed by the battle intent of the chaotic ancient pagoda directly knelt on the ground under this oppressive aura. This caused many to be shocked. Their hearts were filled with shock as they looked up. They saw the transcendent figure that was like a deity. Chapter 747. His white robe fluttered in the wind, and the sky trembled. The terrifying battle intent released by the chaotic ancient tower seemed to be trampled under the feet of that white-robed figure. His hair fluttered in the wind, and his robe was spotless. He looked like a god. He was like a young immortal walking in the mortal world. The Jun family's son of God. Those sky prides who had yet to enter the chaotic ancient tower widened their eyes when they saw the white-robed figure in the sky. Even their breathing stopped. The current Jun Xiaoyao was definitely the most eye-catching existence on the ancient road of ultimate destination. Wherever he was, he would be the center of attention. Some time ago, the Jun family's son of God used his avatar to cause trouble at Gu Tizi's wedding. However, no one knew where his true body was. I didn't expect him to have come to the buried Emperor's star. Jun Xiaoyao's action of snatching the bride had caused a huge impact. Gu Tizi had lost all his face. Especially when Jun Xiaoyao used his avatar to fight against the successors of the four great immortal orthodoxies. Although it was just a simple exchange, it still shocked everyone. A single avatar was already so powerful. How powerful was Jun Xiaoyao's true body? Many people were curious, and now they could witness it with their own eyes. Jun Xiaoyao did not pay any attention to the shocked looks on his face. He sized up the chaotic ancient tower. It seems that Qin Wudao has already entered the chaotic ancient tower. It doesn't matter. I'll deal with him after the tower. Only those who survive can be called the successor of ancient chaos. Jun Xiaoyao's lips curled into a cold smile. For example, Wang Ting of the northern Wang family had also obtained part of ancient chaos's inheritance. And then? Jun Xiaoyao benefited from it. Half of the chaotic ancient emperor's talisman had also fallen into Jun Xiaoyao's hands. It had also helped him solve many problems. Therefore, no matter who the successor was, everything would be fine once the person died. Jun Xiaoyao was indeed not the legitimate successor of ancient chaos. However, as long as he killed the successor of ancient chaos, he would be the successor of ancient chaos. There was no problem with this logic. Jun Xiaoyao no longer hesitated and stepped into the ancient chaos pagoda. The moment he stepped into the ancient chaos tower, Jun Xiaoyao felt the space around him change. He looked around. Surprisingly, he was in an alley. All kinds of smoke and fire from the mortal world blew in his face. Hawkers hawked their wares, restaurants, inns, and crowds jostled one another. It was like an ordinary small town in the mortal world. Hee hee, you little brat, if it wasn't for me sponsoring you, your sickly father would have died a long time ago. You're lucky that I'm willing to take over your mother. A greasy middle-aged man with a face full of pockmarks sneered disdainfully. A hint of surprise flashed through Jun Xiaoyao's eyes before realization dawned on him. After killing Wang Ting and obtaining the other half of the chaotic ancient emperor's talisman, Wang Ting's expression changed drastically. Jun Xiaoyao was also interested in the deeds of the ancient chaos great emperor and looked up some information. It was rumored that the ancient chaos emperor was born in the wilderness. The first time he fought in his life was with a wealthy businessman named Wang Matzi. Because Wang Matzi wanted to take over his mother. Of course, the result was needless to say. The young ancient chaos great emperor was taught a lesson and was almost beaten to death. This was the first defeat of the ancient chaos great emperor. At the same time, it also started the miserable first half of his life. He had fought 1,000 battles and had never won a single one. So that's how it is. I understand. Jun Xiaoyao understood. Every genius that stepped into the ancient chaos tower would experience the first half of the ancient chaos great emperor's life. They would also face the enemies that the ancient chaos great emperor faced. There were 1,000 floors in the ancient chaos tower, which meant that the ancient chaos great emperor faced 1,000 enemies in the first half of his life. After the ancient chaos great emperor became an emperor, he personally built the ancient chaos tower in order to choose his successor. He also imprinted all the enemies he faced in the first half of his life into the ancient chaos tower for future generations to temper themselves. This Wang Matzi was the first enemy of the ancient chaos great emperor. Although he was so weak that he couldn't even withstand a strand of Jun Xiaoyao's aura. But he was the first defeat of the ancient chaos great emperor in the first half of his life, which had a special meaning. Why do I feel that the ancient chaos great emperor and I are two extremes? Jun Xiaoyao couldn't help but ponder. The ancient chaos great emperor was born in an ordinary family. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was born in a glorious family. His starting point was the end that many people couldn't reach in their lifetime. The first half of the ancient chaos great emperor's life was miserable. His parents, relatives, and lovers were all dead. He was defeated again and again, and his Tao heart almost collapsed. As for Jun Xiaoyao, since his birth, he had a perfect family, accompanied by beautiful women, and had never tasted defeat. He even cultivated an invincible Tao heart. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao and the ancient chaos great emperor were two extremes. They belonged to two opposite ends of the scale. The contrast was too great. He vaguely felt that the ancient chaos great emperor wouldn't be willing to give his inheritance to someone like him. Let's go through the tower first. Jun Xiaoyao didn't even move a finger. He only leaked a wisp of his aura, and Wang Ermatzi's figure collapsed. The surrounding scene retreated as if it had melted. Jun Xiaoyao went up to the second level. Of course, the further he went, the stronger the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's opponents would be. They wouldn't be as simple as Wang Ermatzi. The scene of the second stage was in a city of flames that reached the sky. The opponents were a group of bandits. One of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's childhood sweethearts was raped to death by the bandits. The young ancient Chaos Great Emperor could only watch. He wanted to resist, but in the end, he was covered in wounds and almost died. Moreover, it was a cultivator passing by who defeated the bandits and saved Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. How tragic! Even Jun Xiaoyao sighed. With a thought, everything in the second level was turned to ashes. Jun Xiaoyao stepped onto the next level of the ancient Chaos Tower with extreme speed. Jun Xiaoyao felt like he had experienced half of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's life. His father and mother died one after another. His sweetheart died. His friend died for him. The word tragic was written on the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's forehead. Even Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. The other great emperors were either peerless, invincible, or became famous when they were young. They were accompanied by beautiful women and were in high spirits. Only the ancient Chaos Great Emperor lived a miserable life. His family and friends were all dead. He didn't marry or have children. Even when he rose to power in the second half of his life and became a great emperor, he spent it in endless battles. What an unconventional great emperor! Jun Xiaoyao thought. However, he didn't underestimate the ancient Chaos Great Emperor because of this. The ancient Chaos Great Emperor wasn't like the Jun family's Qitian Great Emperor, who was unparalleled since birth. However, he still walked a path to fight against fate. This path was worthy of Jun Xiaoyao's reference. He was comprehending the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's Tao while he was going through the tower. At this moment, the geniuses outside the ancient Chaos Tower, who hadn't entered yet, were staring at the tower with their mouths agape. They saw a dot of light flashing up at an extremely fast speed. That should be the Jun family's son of God, right? That's terrifying. He's not going through the tower at all. He's going all the way. Many geniuses exclaimed. However, there were also some geniuses who had reservations. Let's continue watching. The first few hundred levels of the ancient Chaos Tower aren't too difficult. The Qin family's Son of God and Lord Brahma aren't slow either. The main thing is that there will be some extremely powerful and terrifying opponents later on. Some geniuses said with fear in their eyes. There were 1,000 levels of the ancient Chaos Tower. The further one went, the stronger the opponents would be. Among them, there might even be terrifying characters that could suppress ancient Chaos Emperor. Of course, that was before the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's Tao. After the Tao, the ancient Chaos Great Emperor had never tasted defeat. Chapter 748. As time passed, almost all of the geniuses had entered the ancient Chaos Tower. However, as the geniuses entered, there were also geniuses who were transferred out of the ancient Chaos Tower. They had failed. In fact, after a few hundred levels of the ancient Chaos Tower, some of the ancient Chaos Emperor's enemies were already very terrifying. As for the geniuses who were eliminated, they kept staring at the ancient Chaos Tower. There were more than 10 light spots on it, and they were all very fast. Among them, there were 4 light spots that were the fastest. Everyone knew that they were Jun Xiaoyao, Qin Wudao, Fan Tian, and Yu Yunshang. Of course, Qin Wudao and the other two didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao had entered the ancient Chaos Tower. After entering the ancient Chaos Tower, all of the geniuses would be assigned to an independent space. On the 530th level of the ancient Chaos Tower, Qin Wudao had one hand behind his back, and the other hand casually struck out, destroying the imprint in front of him. With this level of strength, you dare to block my path? I, Qin Wudao, will defeat all of Senior Ancient Chaos's opponents one by one. Qin Wudao's lips curled into a confident smile. He already saw himself as the successor of ancient chaos. Although Qin Wudao's fate wasn't as bleak as ancient chaos's, he still rose from the side branch of the Qin family. His path of fortune and opportunity allowed him to become the son of God of the Qin family step by step. He wasn't like Jun Xiaoyao, who was born with a noble status and became the son of God and the sequence 0. To a certain extent, he was somewhat similar to Jun Wanjie of the Jun family. This time, I will step onto the top of the ancient chaos tower. Qin Wudao's eyes were burning with flames. He believed that he had the strength and qualifications to do so. On the 511th level of the ancient chaos tower, Fan Tian was also attacking, destroying the enemies at a very fast speed. He had appeared at the Temple of Doom in the Tianming Ancient Star and encountered Jun Xiaoyao. It was reasonable to say that the Little Western Paradise of the Huangtian mystic realm was related to the Western Paradise sect. Jun Xiaoyao and the Little Western Paradise had a conflict, and he even killed the ancient freak of the Little Western Paradise, Jade Fozi. Fan Tian couldn't turn a blind eye to it. However, he was very wise. After seeing Jun Xiaoyao's strength, he didn't fight with him. So until now, he was still alive and well. If the reincarnated Arhat D is here, how many levels can he reach? Brahma thought. Although he was a disciple of the Western Paradise sect, the Western Paradise sect's reincarnated D's reincarnated Fozis was the reincarnated D's reincarnated. Rumor had it that D Fuzi was the reincarnation of a Buddhist bigwig. On the 500th level, Princesses weak, Princesses Princess. Ancient you past was past as her ancient's God was sex heaven was. If my brother were here, he might be able to reach the top. Yunchang pursed her lips and smiled. She seemed to be a little obsessed with her brother. I wonder how many levels Qin Wudao and Fan Tian can reach, especially Qin Wudao. I heard that he is the successor of ancient chaos. If he really obtains the inheritance of ancient chaos, he might really become Big Brother's rival. Yu Yunchang thought. Previously, even though she said that Qin Wudao was not as good as her brother, Feather King, she was only biased. Qin Wudao's strength had already been proven through many battles. If he could obtain ancient chaos's inheritance this time, his strength would definitely rise to another level. Even the Ascendant King would be threatened. Who cares? My brother is also looking for the Feather Transformation Emperor's opportunity. It won't be any worse than Ancient Chaos Emperor's opportunity. Yu Yunchang said confidently. Her brother would definitely be the #1 person in this world of great battles. All the geniuses were training in the Ancient Chaos Tower. Although not everyone had the chance to reach the 900th step, they still had the chance to reach the 900th step. But at the very least, their cultivation had been tempered. At the same time, he had personally experienced the first half of the Ancient Chaos Great Emperor's life. This kind of experience was the most valuable. After all, not everyone could understand the growth path of a great emperor. If one carefully comprehended and pondered over it, they would gain a lot. Even Jun Xiaoyao was experiencing it as he fought his way through the tower. Even though his life experience was completely different from Ancient Chaos Great Emperors. But this did not stop him from experiencing the first half of Ancient Chaos Great Emperor's life. This would give him new insight. As time passed, the geniuses were sent out of the Ancient Chaos Tower one after another. In fact, after the 500th level, the opponents of Ancient Chaos Great Emperor were already very strong. The 600th level, the 700th level, the 800th level. The higher the level, the more geniuses were sent out. In the end, there were only a dozen dots of light that were still flickering on the Ancient Chaos Tower. Who is that dot of light? Could it be the son of God of the Qin clan? Some of the geniuses who had already entered the Ancient Chaos Tower and did not see Jun Xiaoyao noticed the dots of light and asked in surprise. It's not Qin Wudao. It's a peerless figure that you will never guess. Some of the geniuses laughed and kept them in suspense. Don't keep us in suspense. Who is it that is faster than ancient chaos great Emperor Qin Wudao? Ancient chaos great Emperor Qin Wudao? He, how is he compared to the son of God of the Jun clan? Some of them revealed a smile. What? That dot of light is the son of God of the Jun clan? Many of the geniuses who did not know were surprised. If this fierce person came, then Qin Wudao might really be in danger. The son of God of the Jun clan is best at creating miracles. Today we might be able to witness a miracle. One of the geniuses looked up at the ancient Chaos Tower and sighed. Outside the ancient Chaos Tower, everyone's eyes were fixed on the tower. Now, there were only a dozen dots of light on the ancient Chaos Tower. However, there were only 4 people who had rushed to the 800th level: Jun Xiaoyao, Qin Wudao, Fan Tian, and Yu Yunchang. However, they did not last long. Around the 850th level, a graceful figure was teleported out. It was Yu Yunchang. She was panting, and her temples were wet with sweat. Her breathing was chaotic. It was obvious that she had suffered a lot. Yu Yunchang bit her red lips and stomped her feet. I underestimated the great emperor's opponents when he was young. They are not weak. Even Yu Yunchang did not expect this. After the 800th level, the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's enemies were each more powerful than the last. The crown prince of a certain Jin dynasty, the taboo descendant of an ancient force, or the young sacred spirits who had been buried for 10,000 years. Any one of them could be considered a top figure in the world. At first, Yu Yunchang did not think much of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor, who had been defeated half his life. She thought that he was far inferior to the Feather Great Emperor of the Jin dynasty. But now, after experiencing the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's experience, Yu Yunchang admired him. This kind of unconventional Great Emperor was worthy of respect. Whoosh! With a flash of light, Fan Tian's figure also appeared. He lasted a bit longer than Yu Yunchang and reached the 890th floor. Monk, it seems that you also did not pass the 900th level. Yu Yunchang raised her eyebrows and said. In her opinion, those who could pass the 900th level were definitely the top of the top, the taboo of the taboo. Only her brother, the Feather Great Emperor, the Xian Ting's princess, Ling Yan Gu Tizi, the reincarnated Buddha Di, and the 9 transformations celestial silkworm were qualified to pass. Amitba. Although I did not pass the 900th level, I have gained something. Fan Tian put his palms together. He was not greedy. Sigh, it seems that we all lost to Qin Wudao. Yu Yunchang sighed and glanced at the ancient Chaos Tower. Her eyes suddenly froze. That was because there was not one light spot above the 900th floor of the ancient Chaos Tower, but 2. Who is the other person? Yu Yunchang asked in surprise. Chapter 749. In her opinion, if there was anyone among the Sky Prides present who could reach the 900th floor, it would only be Qin Wushuang. Qin Wudao was undoubtedly the only one. Because he had half of the ancient Chaos Talisman, he could be considered the successor of the ancient Chaos Talisman. His strength was also not weak. But now there were 2 light spots above the 900th floor. Who is the other light spot? It's not much slower than Qin Wudao. Yu Yunchang was very surprised. At this time, one of the Sky Prides below hesitantly said, Princess Yunchang, you might have misunderstood. Misunderstood? What do you mean? Yu Yunchang was puzzled. If I'm not mistaken, the light spot below is the son of God of the Qin family, said the Sky Prides. What? Yu Yunchang raised her eyebrows, even more surprised. Qin Wudao was actually the one at the bottom? Princess Yunchang, you might not know, but after you entered the ancient Chaos Tower, another person came. Who? Yu Yunchang asked. The son of God of the Jun family, Jun Xiaoyao, said the Sky Prides, swallowing a mouthful of saliva. Jun Xiaoyao. Yu Yunchang's delicate body trembled. She was very surprised. The son of God of the Jun family. Fan Tian's expression was also rippling, unable to calm down. He had witnessed Jun Xiaoyao's strength with his own eyes. Back at the Temple of Doom, Jun Xiaoyao was already so strong that it was suffocating. Now that so much time had passed, how strong had Jun Xiaoyao become? Fan Tian did not dare to imagine. Jun Xiaoyao, it's actually him. Yu Yunchang was a little absent-minded. Even if she did not deliberately inquire about Jun Xiaoyao's deeds, news about Jun Xiaoyao would still ring in her ears from time to time. Most importantly, her brother, the Ascendant King, whom she admired the most, had once said, "In the entire ancient road of ultimate, there are less than 10 people who are qualified to fight with me. And there is only one person who can defeat me, and that is the son of God of the Jun family." At that time, when Yu Yunchang heard this, she was a little disapproving. In her opinion, her brother was too modest. Ever since the Ascendant King was born, he too had never tasted defeat. No matter how strong Jun Xiaoyao was, it was too much to say that he could defeat her brother. Of course, she didn't think Jun Xiaoyao was weak. Today, I would like to see if the son of God of the Jun family, who is good at creating miracles, can make the impossible possible again. Yu Yunchang put her hands on her hips and waited. Since ancient times, the ancient Chaos Pagoda had opened more than once. However, not a single person was able to step onto the 1000th floor. There were a few who managed to reach the 990th floor. She was very curious. Exactly how much ability did this figure that had created countless miracles and was renowned to the point everyone on the ancient ultimate road know of him, and it was even to the extent that her older brother was extremely fearful of him possess. Also, I heard that this son of God of the Jun family is as handsome as a celestial being. He can capture the heart of any woman in an instant. I'm curious, Yu Yunchang muttered. Her brother, the Ascendant King, had a head of silver hair and was extremely handsome. He was the dream man of countless princesses and noble ladies of the Jin dynasty. In Yu Yunchang's opinion, her brother was the most perfect male god. It was almost impossible to find a man more perfect than her brother. At least, Yu Yunchang had yet to find a man more charming than her brother in the younger generation. By the way, monk, haven't you seen Jun Xiaoyao before? Yu Yunchang glanced at Fan Tian. Fan Tian was silent for a moment and said, "If I were a nun, I would choose to return to the secular world after seeing the son of God of the Jun family." Is that necessary? Yu Yunchang was speechless and her lips twitched slightly. She was getting more and more curious. Inside the ancient Chaos Pagoda, Qin Wudao naturally didn't know that Jun Xiaoyao had already arrived and was even ahead of him. I should be the only one who has reached the 900th floor. However, this is not the limit. Qin Wudao's eyes shone brightly. If he could obtain the inheritance of the ancient Chaos Pagoda, he, Qin Wudao, would stand out and become one of the few people who stood at the peak. Qin Wudao continued to challenge the pagoda. He didn't know that someone had already stepped on his head and left him behind. After the 900th floor of the ancient Chaos Pagoda, even someone as strong as Jun Xiaoyao couldn't shatter the enemy with just a wisp of aura like before. At the later stages, the enemies of the ancient Chaos Pagoda became more and more terrifying. In this era of great battles, they were all people who stood at the top. Of course, this was only a little troublesome for Jun Xiaoyao. On the 990th floor, Jun Xiaoyao's opponent was a young dragon race taboo. A true dragon youngling? Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. The young ancient Chaos Pagoda had actually competed with a true dragon youngling. Of course, the ancient Chaos Pagoda still lost that time. It was very miserable and he almost died. Ancient Chaos Pagoda. Let's not talk about his strength for now. Among the great emperors, his survival ability is really strong. Jun Xiaoyao sighed. He also understood why the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman had such a strong primordial spirit protection effect. This was a life-saving treasure refined by the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman. Jun Xiaoyao fought the true dragon youngling with his bare hands and finally tore it in half. As for Qin Wudao, he was even slower and spent a lot of time. Finally, on the 998th floor, Jun Xiaoyao and Qin Wudao both met with great resistance. Because this time, their opponent was not one person, but a total of 7 people. Those 7 people were like gods and demons, swallowing the essence of the universe. Their aura was so strong that it could crush an ancient star. The 7 heroes of the ancient Chaos Pagoda. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes had a trace of seriousness. This was definitely one of the strongest enemies of the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman when he was young. They had once forced the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman to another star field. These 7 people all had the potential to prove their Tao. Even Jun Xiaoyao took some time to deal with these 7 people. As for Qin Wudao, he was in an even more difficult situation. He was surrounded by the 7 people and forced to retreat. No, I want to walk the path of the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman when he was young. I, Qin Wudao, am not weaker than anyone. Qin Wudao roared and used the Qin clan's powerful sacred art. Although Jun Xiaoyao was met with resistance, he was still relatively calm. Heaven's Wheel of Death. Jun Xiaoyao controlled life with one hand and death with the other. Life and death alternated as if he could control the fate of life and death. Life and death immortal qi wrapped around his body. Even the 7 heroes of the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman were crushed under Jun Xiaoyao's strong suppression. Jun Xiaoyao was an eternal taboo that even the heavens feared. Although the 7 heroes of the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman were the old enemies of the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman, it was still not enough to suppress Jun Xiaoyao. In the end, Jun Xiaoyao destroyed the 7 figures. Level 998 passed. Jun Xiaoyao's vision blurred as he was transported to the next level. Actually, Jun Xiaoyao was also very curious. According to some historical records, the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman's greatest enemies were the 7 heroes of the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman. There were still 2 levels left in the ancient Chaos Pagoda. What kind of existences would the opponents in the next 2 levels be? Jun Xiaoyao's interest was piqued. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was guessing, he arrived at the ancient Chaos Pagoda's 999 level. This level was misty, as if he had arrived at an ancient place. This is... Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. This kind of environment was like an ancient land of opportunity. However, according to some historical records, the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman's fortune was not weak. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to counterattack. At this moment, Jun Xiaoyao saw a hazy figure in front of him. That graceful and peerless celestial figure stood proudly in the center of the universe. 3,000 black strands of hair flowed, and each strand of hair seemed to extend into endless time and space. She seemed to be able to ascend to immortality at any time. She was so beautiful that it felt unreal. However, what made Jun Xiaoyao's eyes tremble was not the woman herself. Instead, she was wearing a ghost mask on her face. She looked like she was crying, yet not crying, and yet not smiling. Only a pair of eyes were filled with the vicissitudes of life. It was as if a female immortal had come alive from an ancient historical painting. When Jun Xiaoyao arrived at this level, the woman's eyes also fell on him. It was as if she had passed through the ancient river of time and was looking at him from the past. Jun Xiaoyao's body shook. At some point, he even had an illusion. It was as if this ghost mask woman was not a mark left by the ancient Chaos Pagoda talisman. Instead, it was truly standing in the past, staring at him through the river of time. Chapter 750. It's her again. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't have been more familiar with the ghost face, which looked like it was both crying and smiling at the same time. From the ghost-masked girl in the heavenly Tao Tower, to the ghost-masked woman on the altar in the lower realm, to the bronze immortal palace, and now in front of him. Although Jun Xiaoyao had never really seen her, He felt that she was everywhere. There were many places where she left her footprints. She seemed to be strolling in the ancient history of the immortal realm, as if she was looking for something. At this moment, her eyes were looking at him. Even someone as strong as Jun Xiaoyao had a faint feeling of being seen through. He didn't like this feeling. I am a transmigrator in this world, I am not tainted by any karma. If she is looking for someone's shadow, then I can only disappoint her. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. He was him, Jun Xiaoyao. In the past, present, and future, he would not be anyone else. Although he had never seen the ghost-masked woman, the ghost-masked woman had already formed a karmic connection with him through various opportunities. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao didn't care what kind of attitude this woman had towards him. He believed that the big shots of the Jun family would not allow some taboo existence to interfere with his path. Then, some images appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao's eyes, which surprised him. This was indeed a place of opportunity, an opportunity found by the ancient Chaos Great Emperor when he was young. He seemed to have seen the ghost-masked woman. Then, it was merely the back of a peerless fairy. When Great Emperor Ancient Chaos was young, he was almost forced to kneel on the ground. This made Jun Xiaoyao speechless. A back view, pressing down on the ancient Chaos Great Emperor, almost made him kneel. That ghost-masked woman was simply terrifying to the extreme, definitely a taboo existence in ancient history. Of course, this didn't mean that the ancient Chaos Great Emperor was weak. After all, at that time, he hadn't confirmed his Tao and become the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. But he was already strong enough and was at the critical stage of transformation. No wonder, could it be that the ancient Chaos Great Emperor had obtained the opportunity of the ghost-masked woman, and thus transformed? Jun Xiaoyao guessed. Although the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's life was bumpy, he also had many opportunities. It was rumored that he had obtained more than one great monarch opportunity. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to create his own path and create his own technique after accumulating so much knowledge. His technique was called the Chaotic Heaven Secret Technique. If that's the case, then we're in trouble, Jun Xiaoyao frowned. He didn't feel relaxed at all. Instead, he felt that it was even more troublesome. Didn't that mean he would have to defeat the ghost-masked woman in order to reach the 1000th floor? Who was this ghost-masked woman? He might very well be one of the most outstanding figures in the history of the immortal realms. Facing such a character, Jun Xiaoyao could not afford to be careless. He was indeed confident, but that didn't mean he was conceited. Just a back view, or even just an afterimage imprint, was enough to make the young ancient Chaos Great Emperor almost kneel down. She was on a completely different level from the 7 heroes of the chaotic heavens. Just as Jun Xiaoyao was thinking about whether he should directly make a move, the ghost-masked woman suddenly stretched out her hand. Her fingers were long and slender, as white as jade. There was also a bronze ring on her jade finger. She seemed to be holding a ball of light in her hand. Jun Xiaoyao was puzzled. He stepped forward and slowly stretched out his hand. He touched the ghost-masked woman's hand. It wasn't an illusion like he had imagined. There was a gentle and delicate feeling. Jun Xiaoyao was surprised. Was this a real person? Or had she touched him through the river of time? Then, the ball of light dissipated, leaving behind a flower. It was a flower that looked ordinary and unremarkable. Even someone as knowledgeable as Jun Xiaoyao was unable to recognize what kind of flower the flower was right away. But what surprised Jun Xiaoyao the most was, this flower wasn't an illusion, nor was it an imprint. It was a real flower. This was very strange. One had to know that the figures in the ancient Chaos Tower were all imprinted by the ancient Chaos Great Emperor with supreme means. Logically speaking, everything was illusory. It was impossible for it to be real. But the flower that the ghost-masked woman gave out was real. Jun Xiaoyao felt a little incredulous. This kind of method was beyond his understanding. If it wasn't for the arrangement of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor, Then it could only be that the ghost-masked woman had used some kind of method to step into the river of time and give this flower to him. Jun Xiaoyao looked at the ghost-masked woman again. The ghost-masked woman's figure retreated. Then the fog was hazy, drowning everything. Wait! Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hand, but he didn't catch anything. The ghost-masked woman didn't say a word. She only gave him a flower and disappeared. Jun Xiaoyao took a light breath and looked at the flower in his hand. It was pure white and flawless. Vaguely, there were some Dao patterns flickering. Jun Xiaoyao couldn't see anything for a moment. It didn't feel like a product of this era. Perhaps it was some kind of rare ancient medicinal plant that had even gone extinct. Jun Xiaoyao shook his head slightly and put it into his spatial artifact. I thought there would be a big battle. I didn't expect. Jun Xiaoyao was slightly absent-minded. He almost attacked the ghost-masked woman. In the end, the ghost-masked woman only gave him a flower and disappeared. I can't have passed this level just like that, right? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. However, it was just as Jun Xiaoyao thought. He was teleported out of this place and ascended to the 1000th floor. Jun Xiaoyao was very surprised. At the same time, there was a slightly complicated look in his eyes. He knew that the ghost-masked woman had helped him once again and formed another karmic connection. Otherwise, it wouldn't be easy for Jun Xiaoyao to pass this floor with force. Just as Jun Xiaoyao stepped onto the 1000th floor, the 999th floor, a figure staggered in. It was Qin Wudao. Cough, cough. The 7 heroes of the chaotic heavens are not bad, but I still passed. This figure was Qin Wudao. Although he was in a sorry state at the moment, he had consumed a lot of energy. However, there was a flame in his eyes that was filled with excitement. Even the 7 heroes of the chaotic heavens, the archenemies of the ancient Chaos Emperor, couldn't stop him. What reason did he have not to ascend to the 1000th floor? As the successor of the ancient Chaos Emperor, I will ascend to the top. Qin Wudao's fighting spirit was high. His entire body was surging with energy. However, in the next moment, his eyes were hazy. Faintly, a peerless figure appeared. Qin Wudao didn't even see clearly before he felt a terrifying and boundless energy attacking him. In front of this energy, Qin Wudao felt that he was like a drop in the ocean, incomparably small. He didn't even have the chance to react. His body suffered a heavy blow and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. His entire body was blasted out of the ancient Chaos Tower and heavily landed on the ground. Boom! The sound of a meteor hitting the ground exploded. The ground cracked and a huge crack spread out like a spider web. In the middle lay Qin Wudao in an incomparably sorry state. Blood covered his chin. This, in all directions, all the geniuses were stunned. They couldn't recover from their shock. It's the Qin clan's son of God. Almost everyone's gaze fell on Qin Wudao. There was a hint of sympathy in their eyes. This Qin Wudao seemed to be a little miserable. Looks like he still failed. Yu Yunchang and Fan Tian's gaze also fell. How could this be? How could this be? Just a little bit more and I would have reached the top. Qin Wudao stood up from the pit. He was in a daze and his mind was blank. Wasn't he the successor of the ancient Chaos Emperor? There was no problem with his strength and aptitude. Ascending to the 1000th floor and obtaining the inheritance of the ancient Chaos Emperor should be a sure thing. But now, how could it be like this? If he was defeated after a great battle, then Qin Wudao would have nothing to say. He could only say that his skills were not as good as his opponent. But the problem was, he had just stepped onto the 999th floor. He didn't even see his opponent's figure clearly and was blasted out. It felt like that peerless figure deliberately didn't want him to pass. Chapter 751. Qin Wudao felt aggrieved, extremely aggrieved. This feeling was like a competition that had ended before it even started. I am the successor of ancient chaos. Only I have the right to reach the top. Qin Wudao clenched his fists in confusion. I didn't expect you to reach the 999th floor. This is beyond my expectations. Yu Yunchang stepped forward and said. Fan Tian's eyes also revealed a solemn look. This Qin Wudao was able to reach the 999th floor, which was enough to prove his talent and strength. He was comparable to the young ancient Chaos Emperor. Although he didn't reach the top, he wasn't far off. Humph, to me, it's meaningless if I don't reach the top. Qin Wudao's face was shrouded in haze. If he missed this opportunity, it would be very difficult for him to obtain ancient Chaos Emperor's fortune again. Who was that figure? How could it be so powerful? Not to mention resisting, I couldn't even see it clearly. Qin Wudao was unwilling. However, he also knew that even if he tried again, the result would be the same. The figure on the 999th floor was simply terrifying to the extreme. Who was the opponent on the 999th floor? Yu Yunchang blinked her beautiful eyes curiously. Qin Wudao's brows were gloomy. After a while, he said coldly, I didn't see it clearly either, but it was definitely an unfathomable forbidden existence. An unfathomable forbidden existence? Then no one can reach the 1000th floor? Yu Yunchang raised her eyebrows and said, Of course. Even I couldn't see the figure clearly before I was forced out by the aura. If it was anyone else, it would be the same. Qin Wudao said with a sullen face. Is that so? Then is that person a ghost? Yu Yunchang's eyes suddenly revealed a sly and playful look. Qin Wudao was puzzled. His eyes turned and looked at the ancient Chaos Tower. Then, his eyes froze. His face froze. His body seemed to have turned into a block of wood, unable to move. What did he see? A light spot on the 1000th floor. That meant that someone had passed the 999th floor and reached the 1000th floor. This is impossible. Even Qin Wudao, who had always been calm and overbearing, couldn't help but lose his voice at this moment. His eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. He had just said that there was a taboo existence on the 999th floor, and no one would be able to clear it. But now, someone had reached the top of the tower. This slap to the face was too quick. It's impossible for anyone to pass through the 999th floor. Could it be that there's a problem with the ancient Chaos Tower? Qin Wudao couldn't believe it. After all, only those who had personally experienced it would know how terrifying that blurry figure was. If it were Princess Lingyan, Gu Tizi, the reincarnated Arhat Di, the Ascendant King, and other outlawed sky prides, there would be no suspense at all, let alone him. This was a death trap set by the ancient Chaos Great Emperor that no one could break out of, unless that light spot was stronger than all of the current outlawed sky prides. Only if he was stronger than the young ancient Chaos Great Emperor would he have a slight chance of passing. But was it possible? Was there such a heaven-defying monster in the world? If you can't do it yourself, then why can't others? Yu Yunchang pursed her lips. Previously, she thought that Qin Wudao might be a threat to her brother, the Ascendant King. Now it seemed that he was just SOSO. I can guarantee that even your brother, the Ascendant King, would never pass, Qin Wudao said in a deep voice. Oh, so you're saying that Jun Xiaoyao is stronger than my brother? Yu Yunchang asked. What, it's him? Qin Wudao's eyes widened in shock. He didn't expect Jun Xiaoyao to come to the ancient Chaos Tower, and he didn't expect him to reach the top. That's right, that light spot is Jun Xiaoyao. Yu Yunchang shrugged her shoulders. Qin Wudao's expression changed. He didn't have much contact with Jun Xiaoyao. Their only interaction was when Jun Xiaoyao killed his clan brother, Qin Zimo. This grudge was neither big nor small. But the question was, why was Jun Xiaoyao able to pass the 999th floor, but he couldn't? Impossible, even if Jun Xiaoyao is as godly as the rumors say. He can't be that figure's opponent. Qin Wudao gritted his teeth, unwilling to believe it. Oh? Could it be that the opponent let him reach the top? Yu Yunchang crossed her arms in front of her chest and said disapprovingly. She hated people who didn't want to admit defeat the most. However, Yu Yunchang had no way to know that her guess was correct. Qin Wudao's face darkened. He didn't deny that Jun Xiaoyao was strong, because it was a fact that all the sky prides on the ancient path acknowledged. But he didn't believe that Jun Xiaoyao could deal with that terrifying figure. It's fine if he reached the top, but if he obtained the opportunity of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. Qin Wudao was unwilling. He was the true successor of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. But now, the opportunity might be obtained by Jun Xiaoyao. Jealousy made him lose his mind. If he really obtained the opportunity of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor, then Qin Wudao's eyes were deep and dark. He had always been a domineering and egotistical person. If it was his, then he must get it. Qin Wudao didn't believe that Jun Xiaoyao could pass the 999th floor with his own strength. He must have used some special method. Seeing the cold battle intent in Qin Wudao's eyes, Brahma, who was not far away, put his palms together and chanted. Amitabha, people always have to experience setbacks to learn how to grow. Brahma believed that Qin Wudao would be taught a lesson by Jun Xiaoyao in the future. While the spectators were shocked by Jun Xiaoyao's arrival at the top of the pagoda, Jun Xiaoyao had also arrived at the top of the ancient Chaos Pagoda. The 999th floor is the mark of the ghost-masked woman that the ancient Chaos Emperor encountered when he obtained the opportunity. Then, the last floor, Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flickered as he pondered. What was in the last floor? Who was the ultimate opponent of the ancient Chaos Great Emperor? In front of him, there was a dense fog and darkness. Jun Xiaoyao was sure that this was not a scene from the real world. Jun Xiaoyao strolled for an unknown amount of time. Suddenly, he heard a thumping sound. It sounded like a heartbeat. In front of him, an egg-like object appeared in the darkness. It was beating like a heart. This is... Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. He remembered a record about the ancient Chaos Great Emperor. In the first half of his life, the ancient Chaos Great Emperor tasted 1,000 defeats. His Tao heart collapsed and he almost collapsed, but in the end, he transformed. He fused thousands of opportunities and forcefully proved his Tao. He created the invincible chaotic heaven secret technique and swept through his generation. The most important point was that the ancient Chaos Great Emperor's Tao heart collapsed and transformed into a devil fetus. Then, he broke out of his cocoon and rose to power. He swept through his generation and defeated all his enemies in the first half of his life. Could this be? Jun Xiaoyao's heart trembled. At this moment, the egg-like object suddenly cracked open. Endless divine chains of order shot out, and runes imprinted themselves in the vast expanse, filling up this space. A figure appeared from within, standing with his hands behind his back, with his back facing Jun Xiaoyao. His figure was tall and imposing, alone at the top, lonely for eternity. You are. Jun Xiaoyao took a deep breath, his heart uneasy. The figure, with his back facing Jun Xiaoyao, slowly opened his mouth, his voice filled with vicissitudes of life. Chaotic heaven and earth, from ancient times until now, only one person, my name is Ancient Chaos. Chapter 752. As soon as the two words Ancient Chaos were spoken, endless fighting spirit and vigorous battle intent swept through the entire space. That fighting spirit made even the heavens tremble. That fighting spirit made the universe tremble. That was a roar of indignation in the face of fate. Thousands of hammers, thousands of blazing fires, thousands of defeats could not extinguish his will. At this moment, this legendary figure appeared in front of Jun Xiaoyao. Although it was only a mark, that aura was enough to make any sky pride of the current generation bow their heads. Jun Xiaoyao also felt an extreme sense of oppression, as if he was facing an invincible god of war. Just as I guessed, the final opponent of ancient chaos is himself. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes were deep. He was not too surprised. After all, what was that saying again? A person's greatest opponent in life was himself. It was easy to defeat others, but difficult to defeat oneself. In the beginning, ancient chaos had experienced countless setbacks and struggles, and his Taoist heart had collapsed. In the end, he defeated himself, gave birth to a demon fetus, broke out of his cocoon, and was reborn, changing his fate with his own hands. Jun Xiaoyao admired such a person. It seems that the final challenge is to defeat Senior. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly. The person in front of him was indeed ancient chaos, but it was also not ancient chaos. Strictly speaking, it was the inner demon of ancient chaos when he broke out of his cocoon and transformed into a demon fetus. It could also be said that it was the other side of ancient chaos. Ancient chaos defeated this inner demon of his and finally succeeded in nirvana. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, had to defeat him in order to obtain the opportunity of ancient chaos. You leave. The inner demon's back was still facing Jun Xiaoyao, and its tone was indifferent. It was only a trace of ancient chaos's inner demon brand, and its strength was naturally incomparable to the real ancient chaos. Even so, this brand was almost unbeatable among the young sky prides of the current generation. A trace of ancient chaos's inner demon brand was enough to defeat all the young outlawed sky prides of the current generation. Why? Jun Xiaoyao responded as if he had expected this. Your Tao is incompatible with mine. You are not my successor. The ancient chaos inner demon said. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled, not surprised at all. He had already predicted that the ancient chaos great emperor might not be willing for someone like him to obtain the inheritance. This was because Jun Xiaoyao and ancient chaos fates were too different. They were like two extremes. One was born in the wilderness, while the other was born in a family of the remote antiquity. One had suffered 1,000 crushing defeats in the first half of his life, while the other had dominated the world since his birth. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao did not meet the criteria of being the successor of ancient chaos. Even Wang Ting was only able to obtain a portion of ancient chaos inheritance due to his great luck. Senior, what is your Tao? Jun Xiaoyao asked calmly. My fate is to defy the heavens, the ancient heart demon said. These 4 simple words were the footnote of ancient chaos life. I admire your way of doing things, Senior, but… Jun Xiaoyao paused and changed the topic all of a sudden. Defying the heavens is no longer new. As soon as these words came out, a terrifying aura poured out and pressed down on Jun Xiaoyao. Jun Xiaoyao was still standing calmly with his hands behind his back. Even in the face of the ancient chaos great emperor's inner demon, his expression was still as calm as water. If it were other sky prides, even outlawed sky prides, they would definitely be suppressed by now. Junior, I'll give you a chance to regret it. The ancient heart demon's tone was as cold as a bottomless abyss. Everyone's Tao was not to be blasphemed, let alone a great emperor. Jun Xiaoyao's words were a little offensive. I have my own understanding of the word, defying the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao smiled faintly with his hands behind his back. If it were other sky prides, they would be trembling in fear and treading on thin ice in front of the ancient heart demon. They would not even dare to say a word, let alone offend him. However, Jun Xiaoyao dared to do so. Although he admired ancient chaos, it did not mean that he had to face him with a humble attitude. The ancient heart demon's back was still facing Jun Xiaoyao. However, there was a hint of curiosity in his tone. This junior is a little different. Jun Xiaoyao continued. The premise of defying the heavens is to place yourself below the heavens. If you're weaker than the heavens, you'll be suppressed by the heavens. Only then will you choose to defy the heavens. However, Jun Xiaoyao paused abruptly at that point. Then, Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hand and pointed at the heavens. I'm born to be the leader of all. Only I can live as long as the heavens. Since we're on the same level, why should the heavens be above me? Jun Xiaoyao's words were so loud that even the deaf could hear them. Since he was on the same level as the heavens, how could the heavens dare to be above him? His simple words were enough to swallow mountains and rivers. His arrogance caused the ancient heart demon's expression to change. He turned around and stared straight at Jun Xiaoyao with a gaze as sharp as a sword. This junior dares to compare himself to the heavens. Junior, your words are too arrogant. Is this your Tao? The ancient heart demon said with a deep gaze. Haha, arrogant? I don't think so. When I become an immortal, I'll change the heavens and the earth. I'll reconstruct the mountains and rivers and establish my order. Jun Xiaoyao's words caused the ancient heart demon to be even more shocked. One must know that one shouldn't speak carelessly. There were many things that had a cause and effect. Once one offended the existence in the unseen world, one would most likely be met with unimaginable misfortune. And in front of him, this arrogant junior in white dared to say such arrogant words. It was enough to prove that he had his own confidence. Junior, your name. The ancient heart demon's expression was much more serious than before. He even placed Jun Xiaoyao on the same level as him. Jun Xiaoyao waved his sleeves and said, Jun family, Xiaoyao. Jun family, it's that Jun family. No wonder. The ancient heart demon suddenly understood. That clan had always produced some heaven-defying freak. Even when the ancient Chaos Great Emperor was at his peak and was invincible in the immortal realm, he had never provoked the Jun family. The Jun family's position wasn't something that a great emperor could shake. If a great emperor dared to provoke the Jun family, he would be met with an unimaginable calamity. That family has produced many monsters, but I didn't expect that there would be such an anomaly in the future. The ancient heart demon also faintly felt that this white-clothed youth in front of him was the biggest anomaly in this era of great battles. If that was the case, he indeed had the qualifications to obtain his inheritance. After all, the ancient Chaos Great Emperor had been fighting against the heavens, people, and fate all his life. If his successor was an anomaly, then he could be considered to have inherited his undying will to fight against the heavens and the earth. If you want to obtain the opportunity, then defeat me, the ancient heart demon said with his hands behind his back. He naturally couldn't be like the ghost-masked woman on the 999th level and let Jun Xiaoyao obtain his inheritance so easily. He also wanted to know how much ability this anomaly of the Jun family had. Oh, senior, are you sure you want to fight? Jun Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows. Why are you afraid? The ancient heart demon asked. That's not it. I'm just afraid that senior will recall some memories that you don't want to recall. Jun Xiaoyao smiled. Memories that you don't want to recall? The ancient heart demon's gaze was deep. Yes, such as tasting defeat again. Chapter 753. When Jun Xiaoyao said those words, the atmosphere was dead silent. It could be said that in the entire world, only Jun Xiaoyao dared to say those words in front of ancient chaos. If other geniuses wanted to obtain the inheritance of their predecessors, they would all be respectful and fearful, afraid that they would not be qualified. However, Jun Xiaoyao did not care at all. He treated this as a form of training. It was naturally good to be able to obtain ancient Chaos's inheritance. It was fine if he couldn't get it. To him, even becoming a great emperor was not the end, so what was the great emperor's inheritance? When ancient Chaos heard those words, he was silent. After a long time, he suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed. Haha, interesting. I didn't expect there to be someone like you in the future. I really want to be born in this brilliant era. Then I'm afraid you can only be second. Jun Xiaoyao also laughed. What he said was the truth. If ancient Chaos was born in this era, Jun Xiaoyao was confident that he could suppress him. When he became an emperor, all the emperors would submit. When he became an immortal, the world would be rewritten. Come, fight with me. 1,000 defeats will not extinguish my will. What's the harm in losing this time? Ancient Chaos waved his hand and said, Excuse me. Jun Xiaoyao did not say anything else and directly attacked. He took a step forward, and many mysterious Dao patterns appeared under his feet. The Koan Peng was used at extreme speed. Almost in an instant, Jun Xiaoyao rushed in front of ancient chaos and punched down with a simple punch. A vast golden light shone brightly, illuminating the world. Vigorous qi and blood erupted like a volcano, turning into a long dragon of qi and blood that pierced through the sky. Koan Peng technique and the sacred body of the ancients. Ancient Chaos's eyesight was so high that he could see Jun Xiaoyao's background at a glance. He stretched out his palm, and his 5 fingers were like heavenly pillars that pressed down. Its might was simply enough to directly shatter an ancient star. One had to know that this was just a trace of ancient Chaos's inner demon brand when he was young. And it was this trace of ancient Chaos's inner demon brand that still had such power after such a long time. It was enough to know how strong the true ancient Chaos Emperor was. It could be said that this trace of ancient Chaos's inner demon brand was enough to defeat all the geniuses of the era. Even the supreme outlaw geniuses would be suppressed to the extreme in front of the inner demon brand, unable to turn the situation around. However, Jun Xiaoyao could not be measured by common sense. Jun Xiaoyao's fists trembled. As the patterns of Great Path intertwined, an incredibly huge shadow of a Kuanping appeared. With a swing of his tail, tens of thousands of runes splashed in the void. Kuanping Infinite Divine Fist. The fist wind was the fist's inner demon brand new ancient chaos? Boom. The inner demon's inner yuan, ancient chaos of ancient chaos's inner demon brand new ancient chaos ancient of chaos. Of ancient to the heavens. Jun Xiaoyao took a few steps back and shook his arm, dispersing that terrifying force. A hint of surprise flashed across ancient heart demon's eyes. Jun Xiaoyao's performance was beyond his expectations. In fact, ancient chaos did not think that any future geniuses would be able to pass through the 1000th level. The reason why he set up a ancient chaos's inner demon brand was only to select a successor. If Qin Wandao had ascended, ancient chaos's inner demon might have given him some tests. If he passed, he would be given the inheritance. However, ancient chaos's inner demon was interested in Jun Xiaoyao, which was why he fought with him. To him, even if Jun Xiaoyao did not defeat him in the end, he would still give him some inheritance. However, Jun Xiaoyao seemed to have exceeded his expectations at the moment. As expected of a mark left behind by an ancient emperor. Looks like I can no longer hide my strength. Jun Xiaoyao thought to himself. If ancient chaos's inner demon heard this, he would most likely be speechless. He was still holding back when fighting against the mark left behind by an ancient emperor. Jun Xiaoyao was the only one who dared to do something like that. Immortal slaying sword art. Jun Xiaoyao used his fingers as a sword. The sword light flickered and shone brightly. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a peerless sword immortal. His white robe fluttered, and the sword light split the sky. Ancient chaos's inner demon also made his move. His 5 fingers formed a fist and punched out. A terrifying battle intent gushed out. Golden spears and armored horses, swallowing thousands of miles. It was as if 100 world-shaking kings punched out at the same time, shattering the universe. 100 Battle King Fist. This was one of ancient chaos's ultimate technique. With a punch, just the battle intent alone was enough to intimidate the enemy and cause their primordial spirit to crack. Jun Xiaoyao was not afraid. His primordial spirit had already reached the unparalleled level. He would not be affected by this battle intent at all. Jun Xiaoyao pointed out with his sword finger. Sword qi as thick as a mountain swept out, as if it could wipe out thousands of stars. The sword finger and fist collided, erupting with boundless brilliance. Spiritual power surged and whistled. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes flashed. Suddenly, a resplendent divine chain of order rushed out from his forehead, turning into a golden short sword. It was the primitive Emperor Dao sword. Moreover, the timing of Jun Xiaoyao's attack was very tricky. It was right at the moment when the two collided and the spiritual power drowned out everything. It could be said that Jun Xiaoyao's battle ability was also very powerful. Heh, not bad. Ancient Chaos's inner demon muttered. His other hand blocked in front of him, directly blocking the primitive Emperor Dao sword. Oh, then what about this? Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. Ancient Chaos's inner demon narrowed his eyes. Around him, the illusory image of a stalk of grass suddenly appeared. Each stalk of grass had 9 leaves. Extremely mysterious and complicated patterns were imprinted on them. As the leaves vibrated, there was a shocking sword chi gushing out. Grass symbol sword art. And it was not just one sword chi. With Jun Xiaoyao's monstrous talent, he had already mastered the grass symbol sword art. Jun Xiaoyao directly planted the sword chi of the grass symbol sword art in the void. At this moment, it surrounded Ancient Chaos's inner demon and bloomed together. Sword chi shook the void and slashed towards Ancient Chaos's inner demon. The grass symbol sword art was extremely powerful. It was said that a stalk of grass could cut through the sun, moon, and stars. Immortal slaughtering sword art, primitive Emperor Dao sword, grass symbol sword art. Jun Xiaoyao was able to perform 3 of the 5 divine arts in a short amount of time. From that, it was apparent that Jun Xiaoyao's mastery of all kinds of moves and abilities had reached a level where he could master them all. Immovable King Art. Around Ancient Chaos's inner demon, the illusory image of a fiend god appeared, protecting his body and blocking the slash of the grass symbol sword chi. Emperor Realm experts had many tricks up their sleeve. Even though the Ancient Chaos Heart Devil was just a trace of an imprint, it still possessed many mystic techniques. What he was using now was only a small part of it. Myriad Shadows, Chaos Reversal Art. Ancient Chaos's inner demon activated his divine art again. Many figures suddenly appeared around him, and each of them was incomparably powerful. The true dragon's youngling, the young sacred spirit, and even the 7 heroes of chaotic heavens appeared. What kind of divine art is this? To be able to imprint all the enemies I've faced and turn them into an attack. Jun Xiaoyao was a little surprised when he saw this scene. To be able to turn the enemy's figures into an attack, this move was a little impressive. Of course, Jun Xiaoyao was not surprised. Emperor Realm experts were existences that stood at the pinnacle of the mortal world. Their various means were unpredictable. Jun Xiaoyao's handsome face was calm. He did not panic at all. Boom! The true dragon's youngling figure charged forward, turning into a golden sacred dragon. Its dragon claws tore through the void. The young sacred spirit also charged forward. Its body was like divine gold, crushing everything. The 7 heroes of chaotic heavens also surrounded Jun Xiaoyao. It's about time, Ancient Chaos's inner demon muttered when he saw this scene. He was deliberately making things difficult for Jun Xiaoyao. The current generation of Sky Prides could not resist at all. Not bad, but it's still far from my limit. Jun Xiaoyao activated the power of the 36 Sumer worlds in his body. In an instant, a terrifying divine power shattered the void around him. This space could not withstand the divine power that overflowed from his body. 6 paths. Reincarnation Fist. Jun Xiaoyao punched out. 6 reincarnation vortexes appeared. It was as if 6 reincarnation worlds were revolving around his fist. Rumble! It was as if 6 ancient universes were crushing over. In an instant, all the figures were annihilated by Jun Xiaoyao's punch. Senior, if you don't show your true strength, you can't do anything to me. Jun Xiaoyao retracted his fist and stood with his hands behind his back. It was as if an immortal had descended to the mortal world. It was as if a divine king was overlooking the mortal world. Even Ancient Chaos's inner demon was slightly dazed for a moment. He was being looked down on? Chapter 754. The ancient heart demon was stunned. What did it mean to be looked down upon by a junior? Although he was only a trace of the heart demon's mark, it was still a mark left behind by a arch. Did he not care about his face? It seems that I have underestimated you, the ancient heart demon said. Feel free to make your move, senior. If I fail, I will back out without any hesitation, Jun Xiaoyao said calmly. He had entered the ancient Chaos Tower to obtain ancient Chaos's opportunity. But he also wanted to train himself, and the ancient heart demon was undoubtedly the best opponent. All right, since that is the case, I will not hold back. The ancient heart demon was very straightforward. In the beginning, he only treated Jun Xiaoyao as a junior. At the moment, however, he truly saw Jun Xiaoyao as an equal opponent. Myriad Tao Spirits Transformation, Net of the Heavens. The ancient heart demon attacked again, and it was an extreme move. Everything in the world, mountains, rivers, seas, grass, trees, insects, and fish all appeared. The spirits of the heavens transformed into the Tao, and dense Tao runes appeared and intertwined in the void. It was as if it had formed a heavenly net that encompassed everything in the universe. Everything was about to be enveloped within it. This was an extremely terrifying technique that required one to comprehend all the spirits in the world to comprehend the essence of it. A hint of joy appeared in Jun Xiaoyao's eyes. It was the excitement of meeting an opponent. In the past, Jun Xiaoyao had always been invincible against any opponent he faced. But that was too boring. Jun Xiaoyao even felt a little bored. But now, facing the ancient heart demon, he was finally interested. His long-dormant fighting spirit was stimulated. Jun Xiaoyao stretched out his hands, and powerful magical energy surged. The will of life and death flowed between his palms. At the same time, a huge yin-yang rune appeared behind him, crushing down like the sky. Sacred physique, yin-yang life and death image. Jun Xiaoyao controlled life with one hand and death with the other. The heaven's death wheel was also executed. Since the ancient heart demon used the net of the heavens to trap him, then he would use the heaven's death wheel to tear everything apart. Rumble! Jun Xiaoyao's palms moved as if he had broken through the boundary of life and death, superimposing the power of the yin-yang diagram of life and death. The Tao patterns in front of him were all torn apart and obliterated. At the same time, a blazing brilliance gathered at his chest and spread out. A Tao rune hand that was filled with the aura of the heavens was like the hand of a god. It stretched out across the sky and suppressed the ancient heart devil. The sovereign bone's ability, Hand of Heaven. This is the supreme bone? The ancient heart demon was astonished for a moment. The bone of supremacy was also a top-notch physique among the 3,000 physiques. Acquiring either the sacred body of the ancients or the bones of supremacy would allow one to reach the pinnacle. But now, they had appeared on the same person at the same time. As expected of this era's divergent, the ancient heart devil also sighed. He rotated his hands and performed another divine ability to block the hand of heaven. However, Jun Xiaoyao took the opportunity to dash in and engage in close-quarters combat with the mental demon. "I'm not afraid of this kind of battle," the ancient heart demon said indifferently. Ancient Chaos had spent his entire life in battle. His battle methods were unpredictable. Putting everything else aside, just in terms of battle instincts, Ancient Chaos was definitely one of the best among the great emperors. Boom! 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 Dense rumbling sounds were heard. In a short moment, the two of them had exchanged hundreds and thousands of blows. Magic power exploded and the universe shook. If it were any other prodigy, they would not be able to withstand such intensity of battle. However, Jun Xiaoyao had an unparalleled physique and was equally powerful in close combat. Of course, compared to the battle-hardened Ancient Chaos, he was still a little inexperienced. However, the ancient heart demon was surprised to discover something. As time passed, Jun Xiaoyao's battle methods became more and more skillful. What terrifying comprehension! The ancient heart demon was very surprised. If ordinary prodigies were to face his attacks, they would find it difficult to even block them, let alone comprehend them. Jun Xiaoyao, on the other hand, was trying to comprehend his fighting style as he fought. His comprehension was simply amazing. If that's the case, what's the harm in helping you? The ancient heart demon did not care. So be it if Jun Xiaoyao wanted to steal his technique. He did not care. Bang! After another collision, Jun Xiaoyao retreated and felt his arm go numb. As expected of a great emperor, even a mark of the ancient heart demon has such strength. Jun Xiaoyao praised. Although he was in the great sage realm, his realm was already very high. Compared to a great emperor, he still had a long way to go. However, Jun Xiaoyao was very happy to be able to experience a trace of a great emperor's power in advance. To be able to hold on for so long in the hands of the fourth great emperor, it seems like your previous words weren't arrogant, the ancient heart demon said. Senior, you have yet to display your true strength, right? Jun Xiaoyao said. If I were to display it, it wouldn't be as simple as failing the pagoda. Instead, I would die. The ancient heart demon looked straight at Jun Xiaoyao. Senior, you don't have to worry. Just display it. Jun Xiaoyao chuckled. Hearing this, the ancient heart demon sighed. All right. If you can hold on this time, the inheritance is yours. As the ancient heart demon's voice fell, both of his hands started to move, drawing out mysterious patterns in the void. Horizontal. Vertical. Chaotic heaven secret technique. Cross starfield intersection. Two huge cracks appeared in the void, one horizontal and one vertical. It was as if a terrifying door had been opened. A huge cross-shaped crack appeared in the void, swallowing everything within. Chaotic heaven secret technique. Jun Xiaoyao's eyes turned serious. The ancient chaos inner demon finally unleashed the forbidden technique that the ancient chaos great emperor had once created. This was definitely the core inheritance of the ancient chaos emperor. If it was obtained by a sky pride, they would be able to rise up and kill all the experts with this secret technique alone. Jun Xiaoyao was very cautious. The supreme bone in his chest glowed once again. A series of powers of reincarnation were gathering before eventually forming a gigantic roulette in the void. The second ability of the supreme bone, reincarnation wheel. Rumble. The reincarnation wheel smashed forward, colliding with the huge cross-shaped crack in the void. That power was indescribable. Luckily, it was within the ancient Chaos Tower. If it was on the buried Emperor Star, it could definitely sink a continent. Rumble. Intense ripples of energy swept out. Even Jun Xiaoyao was pushed back by the impact. Of course, the ancient heart demon's figure also became slightly fainter. It was obvious that he had used up some energy. To display the chaotic heaven secret technique, it required a large amount of energy. This is the last move. You still have the chance to regret it, the ancient heart demon said. Come. Jun Xiaoyao's attitude was clearly expressed with that one simple word. He wanted to fight to the end. The ancient heart demon did not say anything else and activated the forbidden technique. Chaotic heaven secret technique, eternal exile. With a single sentence, the void was destroyed. Heaven and earth were destroyed. Everything seemed to have returned to the beginning. Countless cracks appeared in the void, as if they led to different chaotic spaces. This was a forbidden technique that could banish someone to an unknown chaotic plane. They could even swim in the endless void forever or be torn apart by the void turbulence. This forbidden technique was terrifying to the extreme. Once it was displayed, it was as if it could swallow everything into the chaotic void abyss.